What did you steal?
Secrets.
Disclosure Day is Steven Spielberg's best film in 20 years.
Are they people?
No.
Are they human?
Oh my God.
Spielberg does this better than anybody in history.
I can see them. They're coming.
Disclosure Day, rated PG-13. Some material may be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters Friday. Get tickets now.
Live from New York, it's our last show at 3 o'clock for over a month. We're moving to 10 o'clock to help support the World Cup.
10 a.m.
Yeah, I don't think anyone thinks we're going to be
Well,
at
just
10
let them know.
And also, in some places, we will be on at 10 p.m.
Great take.
You're always forgetting about time.
I wonder where.
Where is it 12 hours different?
So
No
we
way
did
to
it
tell.
again. Josh, can you check this?
Bali.
Maybe.
I have sat. This is also our
I'm
last
sorry.
show, or our first show, pardon me, that I'm doing with a broken heart.
Oh, what happened?
Well, I found out before game 2 of the finals that old KW was having a little get-together and didn't invite me. And I found out before game 4 of the finals that old Chris Broussard's having a little get-together, didn't invite me either.
Where?
At his house. He's having a watch party.
You guys are in different states than me.
Brew it to
I
bridge.
would invite you if it wasn't a different state.
Brew.
Nick's over. You guys are over an hour away. If Nick was closer
What?
than you,
That's
y'all would
my-
have both been invited.
It hurts, doesn't it? It stings a little bit, doesn't it?
I respect it. I'm an hour away. I'm
No,
gonna go
you're
get home
like,
at 1 in the
you're
morning.
like 2 hours away.
Think about that. I was
But-
thinking about you. And we have to be up early.
You know what? I
tomorrow
just
for the
realized.
first show.
Because you're an hour north of me and Brew's an hour south of me. Game 5.
Again, no.
Nick's gonna
Meet
be
at
like,
my
we could
house.
have spent the night.
Meet
We
at
could've
my
spent the-
house.
We could spend the night and all go in together.
I would love that.
a slumber party.
That would be great.
First hour, first things first today. No extra punishment for Wemby, but one player on the Knicks might have some extracurriculars in store for him nevertheless. And I'm not talking about band practice. Meanwhile, World Cup starts tomorrow. Chris Richards says he's ready to go. And our new correspondent, Dax McCarty, is in the building. He brought, the French pastries. Did he get any?
What? He brought French pastries, Brew.
I don't know if they were French or Italian.
Dax brought French
Yeah,
pastries?
Brew thought you were
Unbelievable.
kidding. He brought actual nobody.
Pistachio,
No,
I don't want to say goo,
it was great.
but pistachio
Nobody told
goo.
Brew
Y'all
that
didn't
the
come
show,
up to the fourth.
Brew gets
and
left
Nick's
out.
upset.
Unbelievable.
I do get
No
left
one
out.
told Brew that
First
the show
y'all
was
put me
moving
on the
to 10
fourth
or that
floor,
we had pastries.
away from everybody.
What were those donut things?
Who knows? No way to tell.
They were like beignets almost.
Beignet.
A.J. Brown headed
cream
back to
puff.
the Super Bowl, probably not.
Is A.J. Brown headed back to the Super Bowl? I don't know. He's been to 2 already, and now he's on a better team, better quarterback, better coach.
Better quarterback. Your abandonment
You don't think
of
Drake
Jalen
May
Hurts
is a better
No.
quarterback than Jalen Hurts?
I do.
I
You're
like-
the Jalen Hurts guy.
I can be the Jalen Hurts guy and still say Drake May is better than him.
I'm with Nick. This is a
This
stunning
is
development.
shocking.
What are you guys talking
You're
about?
missing.
You were
He
about
one guy
wins.
wins Super Bowls, the other guy
What's
loses.
the other guy
Right.
do?
What?
Jalen
what-
Hurts was awesome in the Super Bowl.
You're
Even when he
all
lost,
about
he was
wins.
Not against that.
Your guy
defense.
went to bed.
Okay, first of all, Jalen Hurts was not playing the Seattle Seahawks defense.
Wow.
He was only playing the Chiefs.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
Light 'em up
I
Chiefs.
can't
The
believe-
dynasty
The
of
light 'em
our
up
time.
I
Chiefs
can't
defense.
believe
Who got
you've
worse, by
abandoned
the way.
Jalen Hurts.
And don't worry, everybody. We do have the breaking news on L'Jarius Sneed. We're going to sneak into the show. Got yelled at this morning.
You want to just do a
I got
press
Kenneth
conference that
Walker
didn't
into the
exist.
show taking a hand off, okay? We start in New York. Game 4 tonight. The Knicks are favored, but the series has been close. Closer than a lot of people realize.
This is a close series.
You're exactly
this is a
right.
nip and tucks.
I'm going to show you how close in a second, but first, here's Brunson and Wemby.
Win or lose, we're going to be here today to understand what we need to do to be better. And that's to be our mindset regardless. And win, we learn. Lose, we learn.
I like lively crowds, active crowds. Both at home and, it's always active at home, but both at home and on the road. Because at home, it's an extra motivation because you want to give the people who support you a good show. And on the road, you want to do the opposite.
Okay, so this is how close this series has been.
Wow.
Points are obviously close. Paint points are exactly the same. Josh loves when he finds two stats that are exactly the same. It really tickles him. Assists are the same. Field goal percentage basically the same. The biggest lead has only been 14. It's the first finals without a 15-point lead in the first 3 games in the last 30 years. You'd have to go back 31 years to find a stat like that.
Wow.
Brew, who you got?
Well, it'll probably come as no surprise, you guys. For the 4th straight game, I am picking the San Antonio Spurs.
Basically a sweep in a weird way.
Well, now they have to win. You don't want to go down 3-1. The key is obviously Wemby. All right, what's he going to do? I do think he's going to have a big game. He has to have a big game. I know Nick, 1-day rest. It's been a little hard on him.
Yeah.
But coming into game 1, he was off 3 days rest and didn't play that well. And so I'm thinking adrenaline, just the excitement of the moment. And look, it's do or die. So I think he's going to play well. The key, obviously, is just going inside. And he's mentioned, I don't think it was that quote, but he talked about the importance of him playing inside. He said the alley-oop is the highest percentage shot in basketball. And look, the Knicks will have something to do with that because they're going to be bumping him. Game 3, for whatever reason, he was able to get clean shots at the rim, alley-oops and tip-ins and stuff. They're going to make it harder, but I still think the Spurs will go there to establish that. And I think he'll be committed to it as well. It's not about him. Like the first 2 games, he was creating his offense, right, off the dribble, shooting threes, whatever. Game 2, it was a lot of his teammates creating it. Even if it wasn't a lob, it was still, they were getting passes to him right at the rim. So they were creating that stuff. So I think we'll see more of that tonight. And we have to, because here's some graphics that we have. When Wemby, look at the game 1, his average shot, average shot was a freaking 16-foot jumper. Didn't shoot a high percentage. Game 2, moves in a little bit. Better.
He's like, oh, what do you know?
Right, and better result. They should have won that game. And then game 3, obviously they did win. He was right there in the paint.
7-5, so it's almost like.
That's the thing. Even if he doesn't have great post moves yet, he can just turn around and kind of put it over guys. So, and then Nick, here's the other graphic.
Yeah.
When he scores 10 or more points in the paint, in the that's the regular season and playoffs.
Yeah.
32-5 versus you see the difference, 86%.
This is like right down my alley.
And then I got one more for you. Wow. In the playoffs, 9-1.
Oh my.
I'm sorry, I am driving that home. And I do think the fact that Wemby said it himself in the press conference that, we always want to put pressure at the rim and stuff. To me, that says they've been drilling that into his head the last few games.
Yeah.
Like over the last few days. Like, look, we got to establish inside Wemby. I agree with you, though, Nick. He wants to show his skill.
He wants to do it.
But, it's about winning.
I think it's what he wants to do. I think it's how he sees himself. And I think it's easier. Like just
and it's
less
how he
physically,
probably grew up playing,
less physically taxing on his body, all of that. So I was going to I have the Knicks. I haven't picked the Knicks in every game. If you remember game 2, I was wrong. But game 2, I said I specifically thought the Spurs win that game. I don't think we did an official prediction for game 3. But I feel strongly about the Knicks tonight. And I will tell you why on the Knicks in a moment. But first, since you were talking Wemby, let me talk Wemby here on that. Here is something, and I didn't have Josh pull the averages because 2 of the games that would have applied here were games he left early, so it throws it.
Right.
But if you look at his 7 best playoff games, like a big sample considering how many they've played, he has not followed any of them up with excellent games. He has not had back-to-back excellent games this whole postseason. Game 1 of the playoffs against Portland, he had 35 points. Game 2 is when he got hurt, but he had 0 made baskets in the first quarter and then got hurt in the second quarter. Game 4 against Portland, he was exceptional, 27, 12, and 7. He had 17 points in the closeout game. They didn't need him. They were fine, but he didn't have back-to-back monster games. Against Minnesota, Game 3, he had 39, 15, and 5. Game 4, he got ejected, but again, he had 4 points midway through the second quarter when he got ejected. Game 1 against the Thunder, he was unbelievable. Game two, he wasn't very good. In the Thunder series, games 1, 4, and 6, he was excellent. And so he's yet to put together back-to-back awesome games. He was awesome in game 1. So that, I don't know
game
if that's,
three.
or I'm sorry, the game they won, pardon me. So we just haven't seen that yet, him go back-to-back great games. The Knicks, on the other hand, I have seen this exact series. And I'm surprised more people didn't bring this up when the sky was falling yesterday. Last year, against Boston, they win game 1 on the road in overtime. They win game 2 on the road by 1 point. Game 3, Boston comes to New York, beats them soundly, and it's like, okay, they're the better team. Game 4, we remember it as Jason Tatum tore his Achilles.
They were going to win that game.
And Tatum had 42 points in that game before he tore his Achilles. Tatum was playing great, but the Knicks were in firm control. The Knicks did this already. The Knicks were, a big underdog in a series, shockingly won 2 could-go-either-way games, lost the first game back at home, and then, kind of steadied themselves in the game 4, which is what I expect to see tonight, Kato.
Quickly, I think, and we talked about this, Brew, when we were in Indianapolis, how Wemby comes out of the gate oftentimes defines the entire game. Yeah. This season, when he has more than just 5 points, the Spurs are
in the first quarter.
In the first quarter, the Spurs are 9-1.
Wow.
If he's sort of deferring, waiting to heat up, like waiting for his shot to kind of come within, as you say, Brew, like the flow of the offense, they're 3-5. He had 9. It felt like he came out. He had 2 early dunks, some early layups. I think his shot distance was like, averaged out to 2. So I think we'll see right away. I'm going to go inside. It's going to be my game. If he scores, if he gets to 6 points, the game's over.
Whether he's been great in the first quarter or not, the Spurs have been dating back to the end of the regular season now, an outstanding first quarter team. I think they've won like 23 of the last 28 first quarters. They killed the Thunder that whole series. And a lot of people said that was about the Thunder starting lineup and Dort and all of that. They have been, whether it was Wemby or not, great in the first quarter. The second quarter is when they have let teams consistently back in it. That's what happened in game 3. They won anyway.
I think the Spurs win. It's a close game, but by double figures.
Oh, okay.
But a close game, but they win by double.
Close 10-point win.
Yeah, a game they're in control of the whole time, and then they.
No extra punishment for Wemby for his Game 3 head push to Jalen Brunson. League could have given Wemby a retroactive flagrant, but said play on. Nick, why didn't the league make this a flagrant? Certainly looks like one.
There's no legitimate reason not to have made it a flagrant. There's no actual penalty for making it a flagrant. None. There is no maybe there's a slight few $1,000 fine, maybe, but
it is.
like $2,000 literally. And so there is no reason not to call what I think is obviously a flagrant foul for a player who now has started to lose a bit of the benefit of the doubt on plays like this, a flagrant.
Not with the NBA office.
And a lot of the chatter around this was just mistaken. Everyone's like, well, of course, they're not going to suspend him for game 4. This would not suspend him. There would be no penalty for this. The only penalty would be he would lose his ability to make another wildly reckless play. And to me, the league office is saying, the way I read it, we can't trust that he won't do something the rest of the postseason that we have to call a flagrant. So we want to give him the margin of error that I do not believe he has earned. Nobody wants to see Victor Wembanyama suspended. However, I think, maybe Brew would agree, I think, that if Wemby were if they would have made this a flagrant, and then he were to, knowing he has no flagrant foul points to play with, does something egregious, not borderline, because the NBA, it's their discretion. Something that is definitively worthy of. It doesn't have to quite be that level, but definitively worthy of a flagrant foul. He would deserve to miss a game. He would have earned that. And to your point on the league office, there are to me, when it comes to this stuff with Wemby, there are 2 distinct patterns of behavior these playoffs. The first one is Wemby's, where he is showing a bit of a short fuse, mean streak, which I don't even necessarily think is bad, but that is a pattern of behavior. The other pattern of behavior is by the league office. They have decided this player, for a reason no one has explained to me, gets not a separate set of rules, but every benefit of the doubt imaginable. You elbow Naz Reid like that, you could have been suspended. That would have been harsh. You certainly would be fined. He was not. You skip out on the media. You are always fined for that. Or nearly always. He was not. This was a flagrant foul to me on Jalen Brunson. You could have done it with no real repercussions. They decide not to. And I got to watch Monty McCutcheon, bow tie and all, explain to me the difference between a push and a punch. I know the difference between a push and a punch. I also know it doesn't take a punch to get a flagrant foul in the NBA in 2026. So I don't know why they treat him this way, but they have decided they're treating him this way. As
someone that's picked the Spurs, I am delighted with their decision. I'm over the moon, wow. All right? I'm over the moon, all right? But this should have been a flagrant. I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad they didn't do it, but I think they made the wrong decision. A definition of a flagrant foul
I knew you were going to
is unnecessary contact. All right, so it was. I mean, there's contact there, but he didn't have to push him to the ground like that. And it was forcible to the
head or the neck.
Well, a flagrant 2 is unnecessary and excessive. I thought it was actually arguably more excessive than unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like it really. I mean, this legitimately. If you go by the letter of the law, it could have been called a flagrant 2, and he would have given him 2 points. He would be missing tonight's game. Now again. I'm glad. I think everybody, even people that wanted him to get a flagrant, I think are glad. Yeah. Other than like Knicks fans, which I get, they probably wouldn't mind missing the game.
I don't think it deserved a flagrant 2. I do think it deserved a flagrant 1.
You could argue it was a flagrant 2. Now, here's the thing. It wasn't excessively violent.
No.
Like we've seen that, it really wasn't. I mean, it's a little push. Yeah. You know, it's not. We've seen far worse, even in today's NBA, where it's a lot softer. It wasn't stepping on somebody's midsection a la Draymond. No. Wasn't a kick. Wasn't a punch. They probably did.
All Draymond.
They're trying. could be, actually. But I'm sure the league is leaning on that stuff to justify their decision. But I as much as I want Wemby to play, and as much as I'm glad he did not get a flagrant, it's hard to justify that not being a flagrant foul by today's standards.
Do you agree with me? Because again, if they had made it a flagrant 1, his status for today's game is not in jeopardy at all. Do you agree with me that the reason they didn't make it a flagrant 1 was because they are nervous he is going to do something else? What is the other possible explanation for not making this a flagrant 1?
Well, here's the thing, though. I don't know. You might be right, but what in the world is the explanation for not fining him for the Naz Reid situation? Like that. So I don't. They're just, for whatever reason, they are treating him with kid gloves.
The flagrants exist for the health of the league, largely, right?
For the health
of the game and the league.
And it wouldn't be healthy.
And the physical health of the opponent, I agree. To me, this falls under, and I never told you this, for a long time ago, I worked on highway patrol.
This is a lie.
Wow.
It's not true. Why would you say that on TV? I worked on highway patrol.
You've worked a lot of jobs.
Yes, I worked highway patrol.
Versatility.
And I was a speed trap guy, you know? Had the radar gun there. Car comes flying down the road, 100 miles an hour. Can't do that. Obviously against the rule. I pull up to catch up to the car. Guys there.
You caught him?
Yes.
He was going up.
Yes, I had a fast car, supercharged. Said, you know what? My wife is in labor trying to get to the hospital. I said, by the letter of the law, this is wrong.
Gosh,
but the greater good is that this is okay. You know what I did?
Nick, the greater good is
I turned a blind eye to it.
But that is,
and that's exactly, it's for the blind. Jalen Brunson is totally fine.
It wasn't a violent play.
Wait
It's
a
for
second.
the good of the league.
This is your fake story made me mad.
First of all, stop calling me a liar because I say I was on highway patrol. Help the pregnant lady.
Speed trap.
Speed trap.
They called me speed trap. Giving him a flagrant foul would not have meant he was suspended. I would agree with you guys. If he already had the 3 flagrant foul points, err on the side of health of the league, what everybody wants, all of it. That is fine. There is the pregnant, if you pulled over the guy and he said, I'm on my way to get my wife pregnant, I think you'd give him the ticket.
That's none of my business.
And so the suspension does not result from him getting a flagrant foul point. And if
it gets
the
closer.
it gets closer, he deserves to be on his last strike. Now, if he swings the bat one more time and misses, and then the league wants to say, foul tip, give him another, so be it.
Yeah.
But I do think that there should be some type of regulation on what he's been demonstrating this postseason, or else get rid of the rule. Or else simply say that, you know what, we are not going to have flagrant foul accumulation. If the rule is there, the Naz Reid play, the only reason it was a flagrant 2 was because flagrant 3s don't exist. It was as deservedly as harsh as a penalty can get. Mm-hmm. He has then been flirting with this. This one was obvious, and again, he wouldn't have been suspended. They don't.
No, but then he has the Jalen Brunson.
No, they can rescind
closeout.
it. They can I do want people to understand. It's not as if now, if you're on 3 flagrant foul points and then in a game you get a flagrant, you get thrown out.
No.
You know what I mean? And the league they rescinded a Luka technical one year when he was going to miss a game. Yeah. They can rescind stuff after the fact if they want. But don't you think what is just is that Wemby feels like, I can't do any more BS this series? Isn't that fair? And if we're talking about the health of the league, isn't that what's fair for the Knicks?
To your point, the health of the league, I actually think under Adam Silver, whether he's purposely doing this or not, I think we're headed to a little bit of a more physical NBA again. Because that was nothing compared to what used to happen. And I mean, I know you said earlier, no superstars. And Magic Johnson did much worse to Isaiah Thomas in the finals. Right when Isaiah's airborne, so... Yep. I do think the league leaned on, it looks bad, and it was excessive, and it was wrong, but it was.
But the other.
Yeah, Kevin McHale, Bill Randis,
but there is.
Right.
And we're going to get to it here. There is a potential unintended consequence, which is the Knicks are going to say, okay.
Well, we about to.
I guess we've got to divvy out the punishment.
So
ourselves.
this is the interesting part. All right, we'll move on to tonight.
The interesting part.
No, but this is also interesting, I should say. Jose Alvarado was tossed aside by Wemby and then watched as Wemby also shoved Jalen Brunson. And he said, that's it. Take a listen.
Those type of games in atmosphere, you miss calls, you know, stuff like that. So, they can't call everything. But like I said, we be all right. That's something that, they got to look at. But he got away with one. So that'd be the last one.
Okay. I don't know if we're taking that as a threat, a promise, but do you expect the Knicks to retaliate?
I do. I agree with what Nick was starting to say at the end of the last discussion. That is the potential unintended consequence. That if players say, all right, if the league's not going to do anything, we're going to do something about it. And then with a guy like Wemby, obviously he's tall, obviously. You get under him, and if he goes airborne and he's undercut, like we saw in the Portland series how awkward he can fall because of his size.
Yeah.
Fell right on his face.
On his chin.
So if something like that were to happen, you could see an injury. I don't, though, think, Nick, that the Knicks will retaliate. Because I think if you're going to retaliate, the time was in Game 3. Mm-hmm. You're up 2-0. If a player gets suspended, you got a nice cushion, and it happened during that game. I don't think now's the time to retaliate. Now he may get some hard fouls. He's already getting they're holding him all left and right.
Yeah.
He might get a hard forearm in the gut or something, but I don't think it'll be anything
But no real
crazy.
payback.
Oh, I think
I
Mitchell
don't think
Robinson's
it'll be
going to
anything
hammer
like
him.
that.
And I think that, I don't think that is just or correct. But if I'm the Knicks and I say, wait a minute, there are two superstars in this series. One guy is, I understand Wemby's getting grabbed a lot. Jalen Brunson's not exactly getting freedom of movement himself. Jalen Brunson, one of your guys, Stephon Castle, ran straight through Jalen Brunson. Another one of your guys shoved him down. There has been no flagrant called on either of those plays, no effective penalty. Okay. Well, Mitchell Robinson at some point is going to be in this game and at some point going to be contesting a Wemby shot near the rim. And I just wonder if he misses the block.
I tend to feel like if that might happen. I tend to feel like if that was in them, they would have done it.
So
don't get away from who you are.
Here's what my theory on this is. I think the only person that realized it in real time was Josh Hart. And what nobody put together was the Hart-Cornette moment came right after this. That was also in the first quarter. So I think one of the reasons Josh Hart, because he did get a technical for the Cornette thing, that was like 90 seconds after the Wemby thing, and he saw it, he was angry. I don't blame the Knicks if it didn't really filter to everyone what had happened until halftime or until they were able to see it, that they're like, all right, guys, up 7, chance to go up 3-0, forget it. You know what I mean? Let's do it. And then all of a sudden, you're not up 7, you're fighting to get back in the game. Doesn't make sense to do it there, all those things. But I think that I think there is going to be a level of just vigilante justice if I shouldn't say there will be. It is more likely now than if Wemby had been given a flagrant.
I agree with that.
I wonder just quickly, Brew, if this is a little bit like baseball where two guys get hit and the umpires sort of tell so now do it again. If a pitch gets loose, you're going to get tossed.
That's fine.
We are on high alert. If someone hammers Wemby, it's not just going to be a flagrant one. It's not going to be a surprise.
Before they actually do it.
Yes.
Well, that would be unfair to the Knicks. I'm telling you right now, if the reaction to this is like the umps, the pre-warning the dugouts, but only one team's batters have been hit, that's outrageous.
Well, if you're coming in and you're like, my plan is to hit Wemby, whatever you thought about Wemby's thing, his plan was not to hit Jalen Brunson 10 minutes before it happened.
No, it is. I mean, that was. I mean, it. No, but that was. I mean, sure, that was because he didn't have Plumlee to tell him to go do it like he did the series before, and he didn't have Carter Bryant to be like, I'm proud of you, kid. He's not.
He's hardcore, and I like it.
That's totally fine.
I mean, he's a hardcore dude,
and I'm not opposed to that either. But what we can't have one guy playing by 80s rules and another team playing by we're pre-warning the dugouts. That can't happen. We can't. You can't have Bill Laimbeer gets to hammer Michael Jordan, and they tell Charles Oakley when he was on the Knicks, before the next game, don't you dare hammer Isaiah Thomas. That can't happen.
Be interesting. All right, are the Vikings mishandling this whole Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy thing? That's next on FS1, the Fox Sports Channel on SiriusXM. First game of the World Cup. Mexico, South Africa on Fox. We are less than 24 hours away. Also a friendly reminder, we're less than 24 hours away till First Things First moves to 10 a.m.
Correct. Also,
so you can watch this game and watch us. Not in that order.
Friendly reminder, Mexico's never lost their World Cup opener. South Africa's never won their World Cup opener.
They're due.
Mexico also, I bet you didn't know this, they have been to more World Cups than any team in history not to win it.
Wow.
Mexico's going to absolutely crush South Africa. First pick of the World Cup, locked in. Mexico 2, South Africa 0.
Let's keep track of that.
Lock it in.
I also agree with
that.
No, I'll be like
Parkins. Can't keep track of all these picks.
Yeah, we can.
Just do Knicks picks, football style.
No, it's pretty easy.
Mountain?
You say Mexico?
There is going to be World Cup tiers. There's going to be World Cup.
Just for the record, it's not hard. I wrote Nick, Mexico, and then I wrote Kevin, Mexico. That's done.
KW.
Not hard to do. I write Mexico.
Okay.
And then I'll go a step further. On Friday, I got USA. Okay, head to Minnesota where Kyler Murray is splitting reps with J.J. McCarthy. Is that good for Kyler's development, Coach? Well, not according to him. Take a listen.
Having to split reps, it's me already being behind, not getting the amount of reps that you would typically want a guy to get learning an offense. That's probably the toughest part. Just again going back to the past, being in control of everything, understanding what we were already doing because I was comfortable within the system. Now coming into the new system, learning on the fly, trying to play fast, efficient, and let it loose while learning is that's the toughest part.
Coach, I'm guessing you hated that for some reason. I don't know why, but some things just hit my radar as something you would not like.
Yeah, you know where he got all the reps? Arizona. He got all of them, every single one of them. Got them all, and that was a different time. And you were the man there, and now you're trying to reinvent your career. And he should probably give Sam Darnold a call and see what Sam Darnold went through to get to where he is now, or Baker Mayfield, or Geno Smith. And when you get cut or released by the team that initially drafts you, and you have, all the things that you were given with that first opportunity, you've got to some degree reinvent yourself, and you're not given the same leeway. And this is a competition, and it's June, and they have a number 1 draft pick, so you got to go earn it. And I don't love him talking about the reps, especially in light of the video game, the part, discussion in his past and questions about his preparation and studying. You got a lot of time before training camp. You've got a lot of nights that you can study and work hard. And guess what? This is a competition. You were brought here to compete and win, and everybody in that locker room wants to see how hard you're going to work to do that. And they remember a guy just 2 years ago who now has won the Super Bowl, who did a really good job in that same position.
No, I agree with a lot of that. And look, I'm potentially reading too much into this because I watched most of his press conference.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. I kind of start taking this like he's not playing well. And he was sending out excuses or reasons to the coaching staff. Because he said things like, I got to give myself some grace for some turnovers, I'm making. He said there's days where, you don't put your best performance out there. He said that obviously we just saw the toughest part is not having the reps. That's kind of another excuse.
Yeah.
He said there's times where I wish I could have had that throwback. Like it was a lot of I've been messing up. And whether I'm trying to give myself grace or, they got to understand this is new. I'm not getting all the reps. Like, that's what I looked at it as. And I agree, Coach. Like, I think this should be a competition. And if J.J. McCarthy can somehow beat him out, fine. I think Kyler will win the competition. But I do think it should be a straight-up competition. Kyler obviously has not been great enough the last few years where he just deserves to walk in and get a job, where there's another young prospect that they had some hopes for. So it should be a competition, and like I said, I took from it that he hadn't looked good so far.
Yeah, I think I was, of everyone on the show, the least bullish when this happened. I know you believe in KOC and Kyler to a degree. I remember doing the show and saying I think people are way overestimating the impact of this. Because right when it happened, people talk about, the Vikings being a playoff team, what it could, all of those things. And so it's not shocking to me that Kyler Murray, very, very early, obviously, but if he's had some good days and some bad days, sounds a lot like the Kyler Murray I've seen his entire professional football career. I am not a J.J. McCarthy believer. I thought his press conference that we played a week ago when he was like, it's like high school, 2 kids sitting on the side of the rooms, did not look like a professional quarterback. With that said, with the question, should the Vikings fully commit to Kyler Murray? The answer to that is absolutely not. Because what is in their best interest is this guy who we're showing lowlights from, that he win the competition. The best thing for the Vikings is the guy that they spent a number 1 draft pick on, that they were maybe never going to have that year with Sam Darnold if he didn't get hurt, who they decided to, in part, one of the reasons, let Sam Darnold move on because they wanted to give him the reins. that, hey, didn't have a bunch of, didn't throw a bunch of passes at Michigan, got bad luck with injuries, that he puts it all together. Because that gives them, I think, far more upside down the road than Kyler Murray, who I don't think is about to have some not late career, but mid-career resurgence. And so
why don't you think Kyler could have like a Sam? I mean, I bought into the go to Minnesota, resurrect your career narrative.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm like, okay, you're like Sam Darnold, but you were a hotter prospect and you're mobile.
Yeah. Because he's too small to be a great NFL quarterback.
But Sam Darnold went to 2 other spots, right? He went to Carolina first, and then he went to San Francisco. So he traveled a little bit. Baker, he went to a couple different spots. Gino, he had quite a journey. And I think the last thing you want to do with a guy who's been criticized for being too comfortable, for not working as hard as expectations were, is to suddenly let him get comfortable on June 10th. It's way too early for that. And for a guy like J.J. McCarthy, he is a young player, and let's see whether or not he progresses. And let the two of them go out there and compete it out in a legitimate competition, and the best man wins. And hopefully it'll be close enough so whoever the starter is still feels a little bit of that edge the whole time, because it's not, unless someone absolutely runs away with it, there's some value, just like every other player on the roster has to compete through training camp, or there may be a select few that are out of that, but the majority of those guys are all competing for their jobs and playing time. It's not the worst thing in the world.
I'll tell you one thing. Our tape editors are sure have a favorite in this race. I was just watching Kyler Murray throw Hail Marys from the COVID era, the greatest highlights you've ever seen. J.J. McCarthy, meanwhile, is throwing punts to Marlon Humphrey. That felt like a real little just tainting the jury pool right there with what we're playing when we're discussing.
Next quarterback highlights. Oh, A.J. Brown is in New England, catching some stunning passes from his new quarterback, Drake May.
What we had to hear.
Look, I haven't even heard it yet. Both of A.J. Brown's most recent teams are tied for the 5th best Super Bowl odds, Eagles and Patriots. Here's Drake on his newest wide receiver.
It's hard not to get excited. What a player he is. And just, start off the bat, what a great teammate so far. He's eager to learn. He's great with the guys in the locker room, and we just look forward to playing with a guy of that caliber. I know he's been a great player in this league. He's gone everywhere he's gone. He's been, a guy that you see on SportsCenter the next day, making plays and scoring. And the best thing about him, he's been a winner.
Didn't love the SportsCenter part, but outside of that, it was just a home run. We could throw him weird and wonderful.
Coach, you weren't on the group text this morning where Kevin KW sent out that, that alarm emoji?
Yeah.
And it was Drake May's first comments on A.J. Brown, 12:45
Turns out it could have been on about any player on the roster.
Hard not to get excited. He's a winner.
Hey, you got Caleb Lomu. He's like, hey, look, the guy's been a winner. Dating back to college.
Shocker. I'm shocked we didn't get gold there.
Regardless, is a better bet who's a better bet to reach the Super Bowl, Coach? A.J. Brown's current team, the Patriots, or his former team, the Eagles?
Yeah, I like the fact that he's saying what a great teammate he's been so far. It's been, 15 minutes?
Right.
He just showed up. Hey, he said hello to me. What a nice guy. Let's see when a few of those passes go somewhere else, whether or not he's reading a book on the sideline. But it's strange for us to have a conversation where one move could actually be the reason that both teams get better. And for Philadelphia, you could argue that there's addition by subtraction, and this was obviously a huge problem between him and the quarterback, and him and whoever else. We don't know all the ins and outs, but it was a major problem. So they moved on from him. They filled the roster with other wide receiver candidates to try to replace him, and what they're banking on is that the chemistry and the cumulative effect of all those guys helps elevate their offense, and that's their angle. And the flip side for New England is he gets to go to a place where he's obviously very familiar with the head coach, and he has that relationship built in. He's going to be the man there. They're coming off success. He wants to be a Patriot. He talked about how much it means to be a Patriot. I think all those things are very positive as well. It's my initial leaning is New England has the better odds to do it, and it's mixed over the last 5 or 6 years in terms of the success of the team that has lost the Super Bowl. The last 2 haven't done very well. The last team to repeat, though, or to go and win the Super Bowl after losing it, was New England. So there's a little bit of that track record.
Love it.
And they're better positioned in the division, with Buffalo changing their head coach.
You think the Pats are better positioned in the AFC East than the Eagles or the NFC East? Because I don't.
Yeah, I think they're better positioned than the Eagles are. Dallas is going to take a step forward. My friend in Washington.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I think a lot of those teams could be better, but
they're going to be better than they were last year.
I would be surprised if Dallas, Philly, or Washington is as good as Buffalo this year. I think as far, you have New England, the biggest, I just think you remove New England and Philly from the best team of their divisional competition, I think will be Buffalo. Now, maybe Dallas takes a big leap. Maybe Washington, they were in a conference championship game a couple years ago. I just think Buffalo's the hardest of the other 6 teams in those 2 divisions combined.
I agree with that, but I agree with Coach in that I would go New England. I don't think either team's going to make the Super Bowl. But of these 2, I would pick New England because it is an easier path. Whether you agree with the division or not, the NFC we know is loaded with a lot of teams. You look at the AFC, Baltimore and Buffalo do have new first-year head coaches. The Chargers, Herbert has done nothing in the playoffs to make us believe in him. Denver doesn't have a great quarterback. Kansas City coming off injury, Mahomes, and they got a lot of new defensive players. And Houston's got questions about their quarterback. So I just think, again, I'm not picking the Patriots, but I think they have an easier route than Philadelphia does in the NFC.
I was just torn because the AFC has a who's who of quarterbacks. Yeah. And if any of those guys get back to the level that they've all shown they can play, that makes them extremely dangerous, where the NFC seems to be collectively the better group of teams.
Who do you think is the best quarterback wide receiver combination?
Burrow, Jamar Chase.
And who's second best?
Am I weighing the quarterback and the wide receiver totally
Stafford,
equally?
Puka.
Yeah, I mean, I would
just AFC.
Just
AFC East? Is that
just AFC?
Just
AFC.
I would say it's obviously
Drake, AJ is, unless I'm
sight unseen. I think it's them, and I can make an. I don't know. I mean, I think. Look, Burrow and
it is.
I'm really.
You're not going to argue over Burrow, Chase. You're not.
But
I think there is an argument.
What is it?
Well, both guys.
You guys said best duo.
I haven't seen it.
I won't say it.
I've seen Joe Burrow's shining moment was losing the Super Bowl. And Drake May lost the Super Bowl
that's about teams. I mean, what is the argument that Drake and A.J. Brown are a better...
I'm saying there is an argument.
What is it? And I'm just saying, what is it?
Well, one guy was second in MVP, and Joe Burrow I can argue straight up that Drake May is better than Joe Burrow. So I'll start there.
Burrow's experience, he's done it for several years, whereas Drake's done it only one.
But last year... First, Drake has been healthy, and Drake was better. Yeah. And I've only had 2 years, and he went to the Super Bowl, and Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl. So I can make an argument that Drake is just better than Joe Burrow.
Sure.
Is A.J. Brown as good as Jamar Chase?
No.
Probably not.
But that's not close.
You don't think it's close?
The duo has to be how they are together, too.
And that's what I
No, that part I'm not going to use against you. You're right. We haven't seen it. But no, I don't think it's... I think Jamar has an... you can make an argument that Jamar is currently, in a year, the best receiver in football. I don't think he is, but you can make an argument.
Sure.
And I think that right now, I think A.J. Brown's probably right around 10. And so I don't think you can make an argument A.J. Brown's better than Jamar Chase. You can make an argument Drake's better than Burrow. We'll see. I don't
that yet.
But you can make the argument. I don't think you can make the argument A.J. Brown's better than Jamar Chase.
No,
I don't think you can make that argument.
I just did. Stephon Castle sat down with Malika Andrews on ESPN and said he expects the Spurs to go undefeated from here on out, just like Bruce picks. Take a listen.
Yeah, definitely. I expect us to win the next 3.
Oh, right.
That was it.
That's exactly check mark there. Brew, any issues?
Issues?
Oh, here.
Is that serious? A serious question?
Well, usually you don't like that level of confidence in the finals, and maybe it speaks of disrespecting the opponent. You're down 2-1.
I absolutely love this. From the bottom of my heart. I'm serious. There will be no misdirection. I'm not looking in the camera. No, I love this.
Okay, good. I never know. I don't know my role in this show.
I mean, Jeff Van Gundy said, a lot of the great players in this league, great teams, have something called delusional optimism.
Oh, that's nice.
And that's what these Spurs have. I told you the other day, I think it was yesterday, after the Game 3 win, Castle said, if we had lost, he said, win or lose this game, we still were going to be confident in this series. Yeah. Now, you can say you don't believe. To me, there's no reason to say that after a win if you don't really mean that. Like, I think they really feel like we're going to win every time we step on the court against the Knicks. And I love it. For a young, now they might not do it, but that's the type of confidence you need to come back from a 2-0 deficit and do something no one in the history of the NBA has done.
Lose first 2 at home, then win the championship. I have absolutely no problem with the confidence. But I feel like forever, whether it should exist or not, the rule has been what athletes are supposed to say or what they're coached to say or what we typically compliment them for is got to win the next one. To not look ahead, to not to be the job in front of you is the only job we are discussing.
That's what you're hearing from the Knicks.
And historically,
he felt that way before Game 3. He was feeling we gonna win the next.
No, but there is. You would agree. There's a difference between how one feels and what one says to Malika Andrews. Like that is there is. It was this not at all odd to you? It wasn't. So would it have been odd if after Game 1, when Jalen Brunson was asked, like, hey, you stole home court.
Yeah.
Do you think you can, win both in San Antonio? If he was like, well, yeah, and I expect us to sweep the Spurs. Like, that would be odd. That would be odd. That would be
if
weird.
he said, I expect us to win the next 3 games.
Well, that's the same thing.
I mean, I'm serious. I love this.
Okay.
Now, maybe if he came out at the beginning of the series, to your point, and said, I think we're going to sweep the Knicks, which I don't think he would have said. But that would, I agree with you. That wouldn't sit well with me.
I'm just saying.
Maybe it's being down 2-1.
Sure, okay.
I
think that might be a fair distinction. I just think it hit my radar of, you don't usually hear that. Yeah, you don't normally hear about people talking about games later. Like, it's usually just about the next game. Because I would have had I hate when people are like, are you guaranteeing you're going to win the next game? Everybody thinks they're going to win the next game. Like, the plan is always to win the next game. Normally, and I think certainly veteran players are maybe more trained on not talking about games 5 and 6 before you have played game 4. Again.
But I think that fits the personality of this team.
No, they are.
They're like
very
precocious.
Confident.
They're ahead of their time. This is a guy that should be a junior in college defending. He is making his mark defending the best players in the league. Anthony Edwards brings him to a lower production than usual. SGA, and now Jalen Brunson. You are not supposed to do that. Very few players enter the NBA outside of a Wemby who's tall.
As great defenders.
Yeah, especially perimeter guys. So Dylan Harper going in there like he don't respect anybody.
Yeah. For his sake, I just hope it doesn't age like, because I think it was to Malika, and I think it looked like in the same setting, Jazz, I'm not worried about the West. Like it
could age like that, but I wouldn't have a problem with it if it ages that way. Yeah, if it ages like that,
I don't
he believes.
Same setting. It looked like it. Same lighting people, I would assume. Same camera people.
Does Wemby have a quiet night? Oh, interesting. That's next. Live from New York. It's the last hour of First Things First we start at 3, but there's the last hour being at 4 because we're moving to 10 a.m., Al.
Yeah, we'll be on at 10.
Yep.
Then there's going to be a bunch of soccer. Then first things first, overtime.
Yep.
Which is kind of going to be
more soccer.
Yeah, like soccer post-game show plus whatever else going on in the world. It's going to be great.
Yep.
And we're going to track me and KW's World Cup wagers.
Yeah, are you in?
Brew doesn't gamble.
No, it's
World Cup wagers.
I'll cover Brew. I'll cover Brew.
Wow, Al. I told you.
I appreciate it.
I told you, man.
Let's make some money.
By all means.
These two suckers, now let's get this money, man.
Second hour, first things first. Today, I couldn't believe what happened in our morning meeting. Nick Wright suggested Wemby, stud or dud. I was like, holy
I didn't
cow.
suggest that.
Dusty was so pumped. I saw Dusty on the Zoom go, yes. Meanwhile, World Cup kicks off tomorrow. Dax McCarty joins us to preview USA Paraguay. And who's going to be a stud, who's going to be a dud? Let's just be honest with you. But right now, Al Harrington is here. Got 1 million views on Instagram for a hot take that the Knicks should.
We went viral.
He lit the
We
studio
went viral,
Oh,
on
I didn't know
fire.
that happened.
I loved it.
Wow.
A lot of it's Gianna's dark arts with the algorithm.
Jeez, Cole.
But it seems like the Knicks are taking your advice after Wemby has shoved Jalen Brunson no flagrant retroactively. Take a listen to Jose Alvarado.
Those type of games in atmosphere, you miss calls, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, they can't call everything. But like I said, we be all right. That's something that, you know, they gotta look at. But he got away with one, so that'd be the last one.
So, Al, yesterday you were talking about how the Knicks should have done something in Game 3. Do you expect them to retaliate in Game 4?
Well, unfortunately, we've talked so much about it. Now the refs are going to be like on alert, high alert.
Yeah, they are.
Right? Both ways, though, because now Wemby kind of can't get away with his little cheap stuff.
Why not? What can't Wemby do?
Well, you would think that he can't get away with it. But I expect them guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody should be, when they running across the lane, anytime you cross his body, give him a little chuck.
But a little bit, but not something
where we
definitive.
know, like, oh, that
You
was
can't,
the retaliation.
You can't now, right? You know what I'm saying? Maybe, and my whole thing is just like, make your fouls count. So if he gets you in a way, make sure he's picking himself up off the floor all night tonight. That's another way you can send a message, in my opinion.
So you're saying when Mitchell Robinson checks in the game, the first chance he has to contest a Wemby shot, he can't just whack him? He can't, like, sit. Again, I'm not encouraging anything to the level of, I'm not saying you should elbow him in the neck. But, you know, come down hard and risk a flagrant one.
The problem, I would just say the problem with that is, you know, obviously Mike Brown's been here before, right? And we understand, like, the goal is to win the game, right? To win the championship, not to get a get back, right? So I think if you can get them within the confines of the game, go after it, right? But you don't want to get a flagrant foul in the wrong part of the game that can, you know, change the momentum and different things like that. So those are things you got to think about in those instances. But I think that the first 2 games before that, they were getting them. You know what I'm saying? They were chucking them. Every time he was in, you know, he had no freedom of movement. So I think that that's what they got to do. They got to have more of a focus on it. They got to be overly physical with him tonight, I would say.
I'm with you. I thought the time to retaliate was in Game 3.
It was.
Like, that's when it happened. That's when you had a 2-0 cushion. So if a player got ejected for it or whatever, you got some cushion to play with.
Good point.
Now, to your point, man, it's about winning the game. We will get them back when we win the game. Jalen Brunson, obviously a leader on the team. You saw his reaction. In the moment, he was like, and then just went back to playing. Right. Like, so he might be telling guys, look, everybody thinks we got to go back and play our game, beat him, let's get physical with him. But I just don't see like one incident where we'll all be like, oh,
that was it.
That was it. That was for him. I think they'll be physical with him, to your point, so he can't get to the rim as easily as he did in Game 3. But I don't necessarily see something coming.
Kick around a hypothesis to you, Al. Last series, we saw Chet really be bothered by and intimidated by Wemby. Maybe a physical play, maybe just like in his head. Once his shot gets blocked, his game did not get better. His game got worse. Part of me thinks that if Mitchell Robinson went in there and nailed him, he might play better. Since his issue as being Wemby might. Since the issue that you have is being passive, playing like a guard, could you see the physical play inspiring and motivating Wemby?
I mean, to your point, like if he hits him good enough and it doesn't hurt him, right? And we all like take it like, oh, that was the shot and it didn't get me good. He's gonna laugh it off. right? He's going to laugh it off, pick himself up, and then continue to play the game, right? And like I said before, I think playing in New York, in Madison Square Garden specifically, is going to bring out the best of him just anyway. So I think he's going to play well regardless.
Okay. I just want this to be on the record. Sure. I think this is unfair to the Knicks. I think this is the NBA version of when Wemby, what the media did after Wemby elbowed Naz Reid, where then the next game was his revenge when he was the perpetrator. It is now that what we all think is the NBA, and we all saw this play, the NBA is deciding to look the other way.
Yes.
While we know that happened, and now we are anticipating, and they are going to have a very watchful eye to make sure nobody retaliates.
Yep.
But I don't think anybody said that. I think what I was saying, and I think what Al was saying, is the Knicks can't get sidetracked. Right. Where we were looking for a chance to nail Wemby and let him know this is retaliation. I'm not saying that the refs are gonna eject Mitchell Robinson.
I think
it's a hard foul. I think the Knicks.
I think Al was saying both. Tell me if I'm wrong. That the refs are going to be on high alert for any retaliation because of the conversation over the last 2 days.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So that I don't know. That does your analogy earlier of the umpire warning both dugouts. That always feels unfair to me and enrages baseball managers when their dugout gets warned when their team's been beaned and they haven't beaned the other team yet.
Yeah. Sometimes that happens when you bean the guy the previous day.
I understand, but sometimes it happens preemptively.
Yeah.
And and again, I'm not out here looking for, you know what I mean, like dirty play. But I do think there's a level of you didn't just shove anybody down. You shoved our superstar down.
In fact, when you did it to Jose Alvarado, no one talked about it.
Right, exactly. And paid no penalty. And so there is our superstar Jalen Brunson barely landed under your seventh best player Julian Champagne's foot. Flagrant foul. Our do-it-all, whatever rank he is on the team, Josh Hart, kind of kicked up at your ninth best player, Luke Cornett. It was a technical foul. Your guy, Stephon Castle, ran through Jalen Brunson, reviewed common foul. Wemby palmed the back of Brunson's head, throws him down, not reviewed, no foul, and the league office the next day is like, should have been a foul, but it's not a flagrant foul.
But to your point, like I said, Al, and I'm not saying this to take a shot at the Knicks. That's not really who they're. You just mentioned all these times they've taken shots at them, and the Knicks haven't done anything except win 2 of the 3 games. I just don't think it's in them. I don't think it's in Mitchell Robinson either to just go out there and kind of take a cheap shot, even though I think he's a good physical player.
If I'm Wemby and I see he's getting ready to take the opening tip is Huck Porty, I'm nervous. I am on alert.
3 games into the finals. Brunson is many people's MVP, but he's also shooting just 37% from the field, 31% from 3. At the same time, he's been super clutch. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. Here's Jalen.
Most importantly, not turn the ball over. Give my team an opportunity. That's fine. We're going 1. Kind of in the middle. I've played better, but also I've played worse.
That's true. How do you expect Brunson to respond tonight?
I think he's going to be awesome. He has earned my full confidence as a playoff performer. Before I show the stats, just quick little anecdotes. Year 1, first year with the Knicks, games 5 and 6 against Miami facing elimination, 38 points, then 41 points. Second year with the Knicks, 3 straight 40-point games to eliminate Philadelphia, and then game 5 against Indiana facing elimination, 44 points. Third year with the Knicks, 40 to eliminate Detroit. Game 4 against Boston that we talked about before, 39 and 12, and then facing elimination against the Pacers, 32 points. This year, they haven't really had any adversity in the playoffs so far, but that Game 5 against Atlanta, when it was determining whether or not Atlanta was going to be able to really have them on the ropes, he scored 39. Jalen Brunson, this is his playoff resume as a Knick and where it ranks amongst contemporaries in the last 4 years. He is a high volume, high effectiveness scorer, and I think that he is going to do that again tonight.
So over 30?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'd say, yeah, those stats are impressive, but he ain't have Stephon Castle guarding.
Right.
This kid
that's
is
true.
a bigger body. He's just is a different look, one that he hadn't seen, and one that, is really impressive defensively the way he guards. Do I expect him to play well? Yes. I don't think he's played bad at all anyway, just to be all the way honest, right? I think that what we expect from him is in the fourth quarter to be clutch. He's been clutch.
Right.
But let's just take it back to what I've been telling you all about playing here in the Garden, right? And talk about pressure, right? He's human just like everybody else. He has eyes. He sees what's printed and everything. Look at what I saw at the back of the Daily News today.
Oh.
It said, don't be a hero. So that's what I'm talking about when you play here in New York that's different than anywhere else.
Rue's been
talking about this
is
for
your
30
language.
years.
The people that can afford for these tickets to go to the games, they read the paper.
Right.
And these people are going to be in the stadium and they're going to be looking like, Jalen, don't do too much.
Right.
Play the way we've been playing to get here. So that's what I talk about, the pressure of when you're playing in New York compared to playing anywhere else in this league. So Jalen, obviously, has the confidence of the city, has the confidence of everybody at his desk, his teammates, everything. But we are expecting him to kind of play the way they have been playing that got them to the 13-game win streak, playing through Cat.
Right.
And so we got to decide, like for him tonight, are you going to be ultra aggressive trying to score the ball? Are you going to make the extra pass? Are you going to are we going to play through Cat? That's going to be his biggest challenge tonight.
Yeah, I think Nick, he'll get 30-ish points. Like, he's going to put up a lot of points. But to Al's point, I don't think it'll be efficient. Like, you mentioned Stephon Castle. This is what he has done to arguably the two best point guard scorers, probably definitively, right now in the league. SGA has his second worst series as far as efficiency, and then Brunson having the worst series of his playoff life as far as efficiency because of Castle's defense. And I think as this series goes on, we've talked about Wemby's fatigue potential. When somebody picking you up full court, and they are letting them be physical with him too, they're hand checking, bumping, things like that, that can wear Brunson down. Like, he's turning him a lot, going up the court and things like that. And so the key quickly, Nick, is like Al said, and like the back page of the Daily News said, they want to move that ball and get it moving. We got a video. We don't have to show the whole thing, but Brunson, there were times he just dribbled out the entire first 20 seconds of the shot clock and then shot and missed. And nobody's getting anything going. They had 18 assists last game, only 6 in the second half. They were averaging 27 assists in those 13 games. So this is what they want to avoid. This is what the back page was talking about. But will Brunson play that way?
I like that video.
So here would be my question about this. And you know what? I want to give credit where it's due. I was talking to my brother-in-law about this series.
That's your brother-in-law.
And listen, he's not a basketball expert. He's a lawyer. However, he does go to the same dry cleaner as Mike Brown. So maybe he picked something up. And he said, why don't they just ask Josh Hart to bring the ball up? To save Brunson's legs a bit.
Pressure?
But I don't think. Hold on, but Kat, do you think?
I don't think Hart can bring it up effectively, consistently against Castle or Hart.
But so here's my question: if Josh Hart brings the ball up, are they all of a sudden taking Castle off Brunson? Like, because if Castle's on
him or
and so and because the other thing the Spurs have been doing is they have been. And this is something that Cat needs to affect by impacting the game. In Game 3, Wemby was guarding Hart, which means he was guarding no one. Right. If Cat was more active, maybe you would have switched on to him. But if they're going with the same essential format they went in Game 3, where Wemby's checking Hart, and they ask Hart to bring the ball up, then all of a sudden you're at least making them adjust some things. So if you want to pressure full court and put Castle on there, all right, see how that works, and then who's guarding Brunson? Again, I know guys switch all of that, but I do think there is a level of what has been very effective for Castle is he's exhausting the guys with it, and you're getting into your offense at 12 on the shot clock instead of 20 on the shot clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that's
I think they would playing point guard. We saw it with Kevin Durant, who's a good ball handler, but that's different than running the point. Right. And especially against this team, which is they would be turning Josh Hart, even if it's De'Aaron Fox. Right. I just don't think Hart, and I think they get into the offense late and maybe make a lot of turnovers.
I want more Jalen, to be honest with you.
More meaning,
I'm like, I know his usage rate is up. I'm like, I'm okay with just eye test wise, outside of the videos that you show, and I know like late in the shot clock stuff I don't love, but when I'm watching the game, I'm never mad that Jalen Brunson is taking a shot.
That style of play is playing in San Antonio.
Yeah, and that style of play had them as a 3rd seed in the East and down 2-1 to Atlanta. Okay, it was when they started sharing about it they got going.
Also had them up 2-0 against the Spurs, though, right?
No, I think they had a little more movement.
But Brunson was shooting more.
I don't mind him shooting a lot. It's just
stickiness.
Is the ball moving?
Yeah.
And he's gonna shoot it a lot, which is fine. I'm just talking about the ball movement.
Okay. Wemby watch. Huge game or a quiet night?
Stuttered up.
You didn't say that.
That's what you were trying to do.
We are counting down to USA's first game. 2 days, 4 hours, 36 minutes, and 1 second. It will be played here, where the Rams play. Called Los Angeles Stadium, that is correct. USA, Paraguay, Friday, 9 p.m., only on Fox. Also, friendly reminder, we're moving to 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, so for the whole World Cup.
Entire World Cup, Brew.
Yeah,
keep your alarm set early.
Yeah. You act like Brew hasn't been a professional.
I used to be on the show when it was at 6:30 in the morning.
In person.
So was I.
No, you were not. You were on the show when it was at 7:30 and remote.
Lot
it was
different.
6:30 and in person.
It was a lot different. Wemby has been better on the road than at home these playoffs. Believe it or not. More points, more rebounds. Also, shoots better. Get a load of that.
Oh, that's through the whole postseason, huh?
Yeah. He keeps on saying he likes playing on the road, loves Madison Square Garden. Here he is on Game 4.
The goal is always to go inside. You know, the best shot in the game is an alley-oop. It's the most efficient shot. But teams don't just let you do that. But I think what we've built with this team is that we've got an identity that makes everybody dangerous. And sometimes it'll pay off, and over a season, over a playoff series, we're gonna get easy buckets and inside buckets.
Brew, that must be music to your ears.
It is.
Had 32 points in Game 3. Do you expect him to duplicate his performance, points-wise and sort of strategy getting inside?
It's worth reiterating. That was music to my ears. That's the key.
Yep.
If he goes inside, and I get it, the Knicks have something to do with that, and that they'll be physical with him. He can't get to the rim easily, but if they move the ball, if their guards are attacking, that will loosen up that defense, and then he will be able to get those lobs to the rim. But I want him starting inside. His first 4 shots were in the paint. First 5 shots at Game 3 were in the paint, and he made the first 4. Like, this is what I want him to do. And we got the graphic showing if he does this, if he takes this approach where he's going inside, you see each game in this series, he's gotten closer to the rim, more efficient, and they've played better. They could have won Game 2 and did win Game 3. And so points in the paint out, they're 32-5 when he gets 10 points in the paint. He should easily get
not that
10.
much.
No, he should easily get 10 points in the paint every night, 9-1 in the playoffs. And I even think defensively, you know, you mentioned it, Nick, earlier, taking him off a cat, allow him to kind of cover the paint better and deter the Knicks. And they also this is more team-oriented. They didn't double team Brunson as much.
No.
Which maybe led him to some of that ball dominance and shooting, not moving the ball. So I think they figured some things out defensively that'll help him tonight.
So I do not expect it. And I have, because I've been harping on it for 3 weeks, try not to harp on it too much today, but it does warrant mentioning. This is the only game left in this series where they don't have 2 days of rest. I do think that over the course of the postseason, he has been pretty clearly wearing down, even though he is just coming off a great game. But more importantly, he has not had back-to-back excellent games yet these playoffs. Sure. Not a single time has he been, A-level in back-to-back games. It's kind of remarkable because he's had a bunch of A-level games, and he's had 4 A+ and 1 A quadruple plus game, but they always were followed by rather pedestrian performances. 2 of them were followed by games he left early, so we don't know what he would have done. But in those 2 games that he got concussed and then ejected midway through the second quarter of both, he had 4 total points in the first quarter of those 2 games combined. He had 2 made baskets in the first quarter of those 2 games combined. So I just don't, we don't have the trend of him putting together, we have the trend of him putting together multiple excellent games within a series, but never once back-to-back. And so particularly because it is on only 1 day rest, and because I think part of the reason he was as active and dominant offensively was because the Knicks let his job be easy defensively. They didn't punish, Cat didn't force them to adjust to where he has to guard Cat. Right. Like he was guarding Josh Hart. Cat didn't, say, okay, fine, then I'll do the brew. Give me the ball with Stephon Castle or De'Aaron Fox on me and force you over to me. Right. It's so much easier for Wemby to save energy when he's playing free safety on Josh Hart, and they left Josh Hart open. Josh Hart, to his credit, made the shots. The Spurs didn't care. They're like, we're just going to keep giving you those shots. And Wemby had all that much more energy defensively. I think all of that will be different tonight. And I don't think he's going to live near the basket tonight. If he has a big scoring first quarter, I bet it's going to be because he hits a couple threes in the first quarter, not because he has the approach he had in Game 3.
Well, I think that it's a chess match, right? How does Mitch Johnson figure out how to get him closer to the basket, right? Because over the last, 48 hours, the Knicks have been able to watch the tape and realize, like, okay, this is what happened, right? This is how he shook loose. We're going to take that away. So the way that he was dominant last game, I don't expect him to be dominant in the same fashion. So that's why, they take things away. What does Mitch do to help get him in those positions so that he can be an advantage to actually score the basketball closer to the basket? That's going to be the biggest thing that I'm going to be looking for tonight, because he's going to need that help. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we know he just can't walk down to the box and ask for the ball and just go to work and get those 10, 12 points in the paint. It's going to have to be little nuance, little plays here and there, trick things or whatever to loosen him up so that he can be able to be dominant in this game. So do I expect him to play well? Yes. Do I expect him to get 20-plus points? Yes. To your point, does he have back-to-back dominant games? No, he hasn't. But this is the finals, and he's playing in New York. So I expect maybe he'll be able to get over the hump tonight because of where he's playing. And
you think this atmosphere invigorates him?
I believe it does. I think it does that to all great players.
Can I ask you a question, Brew? Do you think there is a realistic path to the Spurs winning if Wemby scores 24?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
So
because I think he can have a strong game, 24 and 10 or something like that. And he hasn't had a great rebounding game
since Game 2 of the conference finals.
So I would like to see that, but that's where those bodies being on him all the time is really affecting him. But, yeah, I mean, you would need Castle. I mean, look, Champagnie can hit a bunch of threes. Yep. Castle and Harper can score. Obviously, Fox, has had moments. So, yeah, I do think they could win with that.
See, I think he has to be great for them to win tonight.
But Harper can play a lot better. He was 5 for 18 last game, and he missed a couple bunnies too.
Yep.
They definitely, those guards can make up that difference you're talking about.
KW, have you said who you got tonight?
I don't want to talk about it.
Literally your job.
My wife grew up in New Jersey and spends the games screaming at the television. So if I sit there quietly, I don't want to get in, right in the path of the hurricane. But I think the Spurs are going to win this game. And I think that Wemby, as stupid as this sounds, realizes if I just get closer to the basket, I'm unstoppable. And if I score, the stat that we showed earlier, Al, the Spurs are, I think, 9-1 in the playoffs when he has 5 first quarter points, just 5, which I think he gets not from hitting a lot of threes, which he obviously can, but from being aggressive and going inside and establishing as well. I also think all of this hoopla, the New York Post article has the district attorney of Manhattan saying he's guilty of a flagrant foul. I think that is also inspiring him and invigorating him. I have the Spurs, do not tell my wife.
These New Yorkers eating out of my hand.
No, I do think he likes, like, Stephon Marbury went on social media after the game.
I mean,
and you know, he made, after he was in the NBA, went to China, played, you know, had a great career there. He said international players are dirty. Yeah. And he said Wemby's dirty. And he said what he would do, give him a forearm. But Wemby probably loves this. Loves all this, you know, talk and commotion.
Men's national team getting ready for their opening round game against Paraguay. We're down to 2 days, 4 hours, 26 minutes, and 15 seconds. Our new World Cup correspondent, Dax McCarty, joins the show. We played Paraguay in November.
Thank you, Nick. I like expert.
And there was a lot of fireworks here. Now, this team is different because, remember, we didn't have Pulisic that game. We didn't have Tyler Adams that game. We didn't have Weston McKennie that game. Person that we do have now is Chris Richards, who we were worried about his health, but he says he's ready to go. Take a listen.
I mean, I feel good. I feel really good. No, I'm not the coach, so I can't say if I'm playing on Friday or not, but me personally, I would love to be playing this opening game.
Okay, so we had a lot of fireworks in November when we played Paraguay. We're playing them on Friday. What are you expecting from Chris Richards and the team as a whole?
Well, I hope Chris Richards is on the field from the beginning. Now, Mauricio Pochettino is going to have to make that decision, but Chris Richards is easily our best defender. He's our best center back, and our back line is my biggest question mark going into this tournament. A couple stats for you guys. We have 1 clean sheet in our last 14 games, none in our last 8, and we've conceded 11 goals in our last 4 games. You don't get better when you lose your best defender and when your best defender is not on the field. So if it was me and Chris Richards says he's good to go, he's ready to play, I trust him. I put him on the field from the beginning. There's a difference between your best player, who is Christian Pulisic, and your most irreplaceable player. Chris Richards is our most irreplaceable player because the knockdown in level from him to our next best center backs is pretty steep. So he needs to be on the field.
The last line of defense, obviously, is goalkeeper. Matt Freese will be our least experienced goalkeeper in a World Cup since 1990. I understand in the clean sheet streak that you're talking about, or lack of them, he was not the goaltender in all of those games. Do you think they made the right call with him being the goalkeeper? And what level of confidence should we all have in him?
It's interesting you say that, Nick, because both goalkeepers, the two Matts, Matt Freese, Matt Turner, have both come out recently and said, well, I don't know who's playing. Matt Freese has said that. Matt Turner has said that. This is Mauricio Pochettino, I think, doing a really good job resetting expectations and making sure that no player on this roster feels comfortable. No player on this roster feels like they have a spot that's secured. And so Matt Freese, by and large, to me, there's a 95% chance he's the starting goalkeeper come Friday, game 1. I certainly think it's a little cause for concern, considering every single World Cup we have played in prior to this, we have had a locked-on starting goalkeeper. Yes. But I know Pochettino has confidence in Matt Freese. I have confidence in both guys. They provide different things. But Matt Freese, I think, when it's time to play on Friday, will be in net.
It feels like things are coming together just in the nick of time. I mean, Chris Richards now being healthy. Pulisic has come out of his slump. We look better in the last 2 friendlies. Like, where do you think mentally, like, do you think the team probably feels that way and there's an extra boost of confidence going into this game with Paraguay?
U.S. men's national team has lost 3 of their last 4 games coming into this tournament, and yet I still think that the vibes under Pochettino with this team right now are the highest they have ever been under him. Wow. And I say that because the performances in the last 2 games against Senegal and against Germany were very good performances. Some of the best that we've seen in the last 2 years under Pochettino. Christian Pulisic, our best player, has played extremely well. He got off the goal-scoring schneid. He hadn't scored a goal in 2026. He scored against Senegal and generally was the best player on the field. When he is fit, when he is healthy, when he is running at back lines, he gives me confidence because he is a game changer. And so I think the vibes are at an all-time high right now under Pochettino, and I think the U.S. men's national team, the most important part of their World Cup, other than if they make it to the knockout phases, is going to be the first 15 minutes against Paraguay. I love how we showed that scuffle a couple of months ago in that game. And we had Miles Robinson kind of talking about, well, that was the kickoff point for us to kind of show that American grit that maybe we had lost a little bit. You had Miles Robinson putting guys in headlocks, right? You had guys standing up for each other. I want that national team on the field on Friday, first 15 minutes, setting the tone, showing this entire country that they are here to make some noise.
So can we stay on this for a second?
Sure.
You're talking about the first sixth of the first game. The first game as a whole.
Yeah.
U.S. men's national team World Cup history. Every single opener that we have won or drawn, we've advanced to the knockout round. Every single opener that we've lost, we have lost in the group stage. We have not advanced past the group stage. I also think that even with the expanded field where it's going to be easier than ever before to make the knockout round, that if they don't get a result against Paraguay, all of a sudden that game against Australia becomes the most nerve-wracking game any of these players have ever played in their lives. Because Turkey is either the best or the second best team in the group, and you cannot go into that Turkey game having to win or even draw to advance. I think you have to have secured probably 4 points going into that, which is, again, you're new to the show and studio, but one of our favorite things is we play a game called Must Win. Yeah. And it's not literal. It's figurative because, of course, it's not a must win.
Of course.
This would
not
be
must win.
Not must win.
Must win.
Must win, like that. This, I think, is an actual must win against Paraguay, or at the very least, must get a point. Do you agree with me there?
I agree with you that you have to get something out of the game. I disagree that it's a must win because of a point that you made. You contradict yourself a little bit because 8 third-place teams advance.
So much easier.
So it is significantly easier to advance out of the group stage. But I'm going to agree with you in the sense that it is a must-win game if the U.S. men's national team wants to win multiple knockout round games.
Correct.
If you advance second or third in the group, you have a significantly harder road and more of a challenge to go far in this tournament because then you're playing better teams from other groups. And you are going to play some world powers that, quite frankly, are better than us. So you want to set the tone early. You want to make sure that you're in a position against Turkey to win the group. You need to get 3 points, but 1 point doesn't kill you. I would be more upset if we got a point and we had a really poor performance. If we had a great performance and only got a point, well then I'll say, okay, go win against Australia and then go show the rest of the field, go show the rest of the tournament that against Turkey, you're going to win the group and set a marker for the knockout rounds.
All right, so that game is a Friday, 9 o'clock on Fox. Wanted to talk about some other countries, specifically Argentina and Messi.
Yeah.
Last night, he played about 20 minutes, came on in the 70th minute, immediately made an opportunity here, draws a penalty on this pass. He ends up taking the penalty, scores. They win this friendly game against Iceland 3-0. What are we expecting from Messi this tournament?
Well, I expect greatness.
You do?
As we have expected from him throughout his entire career. A lot of people thought when he came to Major League Soccer, that was almost an acknowledgement of, okay, I'm going to ride off into the sunset. And
He's been unbelievable.
Coast. He has been literally unbelievable since he has gotten to Major League Soccer. He's a back-to-back MVP of the league, and he has just gotten better with age. But with age comes a little bit of a more rickety body. And so him coming into this tournament with a little bit of a hamstring injury, I think that Lionel Scaloni, the Argentina manager, is going to have to manage his minutes and going to have to make sure that he doesn't put too much on Messi's plate too early. Argentina's in one of the easiest groups in the tournament.
So you see him coming in late like he did last night?
I hope. I don't know. In Major League Soccer, Lionel Messi has pretty much, whenever he's been fit, he's played 90 minutes regardless of if they're winning 5-0, if they're losing 5-0, he hasn't come off the field. I hope Lionel Scaloni and Lionel Messi both take into account this is a long tournament. They need him for the knockout rounds. They don't need him for the group stage. So manage his minutes, and then when the knockout rounds come around, I think you're going to see the greatest player of all time perform.
Very quickly, we have 30 seconds for people that haven't been dialed in Argentina or Messi in MLS.
Yeah.
If you could turn injuries off, if that was not a concern, he is still at his age one of their best 11. Like if the fatigue and anything, so if the only reason he wouldn't be playing a starter and playing full game is wear and tear, not because he has aged out of being one of their best options.
He's not just part of their best 11. He is their best player still. And now that doesn't mean that there aren't other players that are extremely important to their group and to the success of the group. But Lionel Messi is the greatest player that's ever lived. When he's fit, when he's available, when he's healthy, he strikes fear in any opponent, and he can unlock any backline. You saw the pass that led to the penalty in the highlight that we just showed. There aren't many players on Argentina, let alone in the world, that have that vision that he has. And so when Argentina is going to play against a lower block, they need him fit, they need him available to be able to help them unlock some stingy backlines.
Okay. Great first appearance on the show in studio as our World Cup expert.
I got to get you a pastry.
Yes.
Sorry, sorry, Mr.
Dax brought a bunch of
can't
desserts.
wait.
Great job, man. Thank you.
Didn't reach the fourth floor.
They put me on the fourth floor.
Live from New York, first things first, overtime today. Are we going to see a statement game from Jalen Brunson? Meanwhile, World Cup preview. And we debate whether first things first overtime should be called first things first stoppage time during the World Cup. On the board.
At least the beginning of it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, sure.
Stoppage time, just for like an
extra time.
Yeah.
Stoppage time's brief. Extra time would be better.
And you never,
You never know when it's going to end.
No, that's stoppage time.
That's what I'm saying, stoppage time.
Extra time, you do know when it's
That's true.
It's a defined 30 minits.
I like stoppage time. You just keep going.
Okay.
And finally, cool
Depends
stats.
on whether or not Troy gets hurt.
If you're like in the middle of a good point, like we're gonna keep going. I gotta let it finish. Fresh edition of Cool Stats. It's the coolest stats you've ever seen in your whole life. Little basketball. Any football in the cool stats today?
Football.
Ow. He's in.
Yeah, of course. World Cup.
Danny's gonna do the first ever million-plus person First Things First rated show one of these days. He's going to be coming off one of these games, and he's going to just crush.
We've never done 1 million people.
A million people?
I thought we came off of like the same scenario. We came off of something huge.
We didn't. No, not
like a Daytona 500 rain out or something.
Yeah, I don't think. You know what? I've been doing this show a long time. I don't think we've cracked 1 million yet.
We're doing a show off around a 32 game.
That's what I'm saying.
It's going to be awesome.
That's what I'm saying.
I need to be on that.
I shouldn't have said anything. I'm the only one who checks the schedule around. It's very
Chris
exciting.
Stark, Kevin Wilds, Nick Wright, and the great Danny Park and Spurs Knicks Game 3. Interesting to watch early on if the Knicks come out of the gate slow. All 3 games, they've been down at least 10 points in the first quarter. Then they usually come back. And most of the time they win.
Yeah. 2 out of 3.
Yeah. All right, Danny. We've all made our picks, some reluctantly.
Just you.
Just
scare your wife.
Well, I'm just nervous.
Who among us?
Yeah.
Who do you have tonight? And how and why?
Oh, the old triple-barreled question. I have the Spurs.
You and Brew have both picked to sweep.
Every game. I actually picked Spurs in the gentleman's sweep.
No, but I'm saying you and Brew have both picked the Spurs every single game before the game. Yeah,
that's right. You know what they say.
But had they won the first 2, I wouldn't have picked them.
Yeah, well,
right.
Yeah,
that
got more faith because they lost, but sure.
The series doesn't start till a team wins at home, I guess, is the new mantra for this series. I think, I understand all of the arguments, and we've seen it visually, of like, Wemby doesn't have a full tank of gas left since the double overtime game and just what he was conditioned to, and they're playing so deep into it and all of that. In some of the games, it feels like he settles and he drifts and he takes more jump shots and everything. Mm-hmm. But they said it was a real point of emphasis, they being the Spurs, after game 2, to just get him paint touches.
Yep.
Because paint touches helps everybody else. With cuts and with kickouts and with open threes and all of it. And so I will be surprised if they don't continue down that path. Even if he isn't as fresh with the rest going into game 3 as he is going into game 4, like if you just put up field goal attempts, just field goal attempts in the paint, if he takes 10 of them, they've won 8 of 9. If he shoots below 10 of them, it's basically a 50-50, a little bit worse proposition. Given that they made that a point of emphasis, we should throw lobs to the 7.5-foot guy. I think they're going to do that, and it is going to make things easier for everyone else, even if that means towards the end of the game, he's a little bit more worn down. That also wears down the Knicks having to defend him in the paint so much. So I think the Spurs are going to feed the big guy in the post, and that's ultimately going to be the reason they win the game.
I'm expecting a big game from him. I'm hoping he will be inside. Like you said, I think the talk, it feels like there's been an uptick in talk about it from their side. Which
point of emphasis.
It shouldn't have taken you this long to figure it out.
Nope.
But they are emphasizing it. And I feel like this is giving him a pass. All the talk about fatigue. Like, look, you aren't the first player to play in the freaking NBA Finals. Let's stop talking about he's tired. They're all probably tired to some degree. And this is your chance of a lifetime. This is what his whole life has essentially been geared toward this. Go out there and play, man. I don't really want to hear about the fatigue. If he plays you can have a bad game. I'm not going to really blame it on fatigue unless he's just out there clearly lumbering.
But we have seen him that.
We've seen his energy not be here. And
the game in the conference finals where he made 4 baskets and was not getting up and down the court.
Yep.
We have seen.
But what? That's just. It's not. I don't think you guys are saying it as an excuse. I'm just like, look.
I'm just tired of hearing.
I don't think it's an excuse. I do think it's an explanation. I do think it's likely to show up tonight. And I don't think it just occurred to Wemby and the Spurs. He's 7'6". What if we have him play in the post?
He didn't play. He wasn't in the post as much as he needed to be in the regular season.
I understand that, and I think some of that is his own preference. And I think some of the reason it is his preference is because one of his only weaknesses as a basketball player is he is not that strong. He is to the world, but not compared to the guys who play in the post. He does not have a refined post game. He doesn't have a refined go-to offensive move really anywhere on the court. And the offensive move he seems most comfortable with on the court is a pull-up jump shot. And so that is, I don't think that it's all of a sudden a eureka moment of, oh my God, give him the ball at the basket. I think that whether his willingness to do it, other teams' ability or focus on pushing him away from doing it, how much energy he is exerting on the defensive end impacts it. I think one of the reasons he was so consistently excellent offensively in Game 3 was because the Knicks made his job defensively easy in Game 3.
But it was early, though. When he went inside. That was before you could establish himself.
But we have also seen the Spurs have been awesome in first quarters all playoffs. Wemby, I know you showed the stat. He has 10 first quarters where he is. Well, I guess it's only 5 points, so that's not a lot.
It's just 5. It's just 5.
And so it is. I expect the Knicks to win tonight. The Knicks that have been in this exact spot a year ago. A year ago, they went to Boston, won Game 1 in overtime. Oh, either team could have won it. Won Game 2 by 1 point. Oh, either team could have won it. They're not the better team. Lost Game 3 at home. Oh, okay, see, there's Boston asserting itself as the team. And in Game 4, put it on the Celtics before Jason Tatum tore his Achilles. And it was despite the fact Jason Tatum actually in that game was outstanding. Had 42 points. The Knicks these playoffs are 14-3. The Spurs these playoffs are 13-8. They've played 6 times this year. The Knicks have won 4 of them. I know they've been close. Could have gone either way. I don't think San Antonio is better than them.
No, but do you agree, though, that when you say it could have gone either way, to me, it honestly feels like this could be 3-0 in either direction.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Okay.
These are really closely matched teams.
The Spurs had a lead in, at least the final 3 minutes of every game. They've had a double-digit lead in every game. They were up 14.
Just to play devil's advocate, we play sometimes with injuries off. If you play with experience off, sure, but if you're making the inexperienced team is making silly plays, I think that counts.
Hold on. So can I ask you a question then?
Yeah.
You just said it could be 3-0 Spurs. So it could be 3-0 Knicks. You agree?
100. Yeah, absolutely.
Then what's it going to take for you to go into one of these games and be like, you know what? They've all been coin flips. I think it's going to come up tails. If it could, this idea of it could be this, it could be that. These teams are super closely matched. The Spurs are going to win every game. to me, obvious advantages the Knicks have tonight, and there were obvious advantages from a motivational standpoint that the Spurs had in Game 3. And that is the most typical letdown spot you see unless teams are very greatly mismatched, where the team down 2-0 has a level of desperation that the team up 2-0 cannot reach.
Wait, but a lot of the analysis going into Game 3 was that the Knicks were going to blow the doors off the Spurs because of the atmosphere and the environment and all of that.
Whose analysis was it? Whose?
Why you thought it'd be a blowout?
We said blowout on the board.
The blowout was on the board.
I thought it was certainly on the board. I agree that we thought it was possible, and at halftime, going into the game, I didn't think it was coming, but at halftime, I thought that's what we were going to get. I certainly thought that was a possibility, but it was a 2.5-point line like this game is. It was considered in the margins. I think that we have a Knicks team that lost for the first time in 46 days. And now all of a sudden or 42 days, whatever it was, they are the team that has to make these massive adjustments. And I don't think that's the case. I think they played a bad game. And I think that Towns will be more active. I think they will look more offensively like they had looked during the winning streak, and defensively they'll be more connected. And I think they're going to win tonight.
I think Wemby's going to have some slam dunks.
Tall guy dunking.
Hey. Wemby shoved Brunson, league reviewed, and said, play on, no flagrant. Dan, do you expect this particular play to rear its head in any way tonight?
Not at all. I think it was a missed call by the refs, and I completely understand why it upset Knicks fans, and I get what Mike Brown was doing. And Alvarado's quotes about it makes it a totally legitimate story. We like when the refs let them play. And then now in Game 2, I thought it went a little too far. Richard Jefferson called it out on the broadcast. Game 3 was also physical. I would rather it err on the side of being too physical than too many whistles and too choppy and all of that. It's a very tough sport to officiate.
That's not tough.
No,
that's not letting them play.
Wait a minute.
That's not letting them
But
play.
look at what Keldon Johnson is doing to Cat. This is what the refs were looking. Now you could have called that. Keldon Johnson's all over
on that play. The question was, do I expect it to? Do you think we're going to see a drastically different basketball game tonight in terms of how it is often
I think it's going to be
than
tighter,
games
though.
1 through 3?
I think the pendulum could go to tighter.
I think two things could happen because of this night. One, I think somebody might put a hard one on Wemby.
Sure, that's possible.
Which would make an impact tonight. The other one is,
I think that would make an impact tonight.
Well, I just mean literally. I don't know. I'm just saying that would, meaning I think there might be a foul committed tonight that would not have been committed if not for this play. That's all. Not that it's going to knock Wemby off course. That just literally is something that happened that wouldn't have happened. The other thing is, I think Mike Brown's press conference is going to work. I think that there will be a foul called on Steph Castle 30 feet from the basket in the first 4 minutes of the game.
Oh, that would be super weak.
I don't think the NBA wants to get it, because these teams are playing so physical.
That would be horrible.
That you could really turn this into a joke.
Wait.
If they call it too tight.
It's literally what happened to Mikal Bridges and took him out of the game in Game 3.
No,
I'm not saying a phantom foul. I'm saying they have been doing business as business is being done. And I think in this game, business will be being done differently. I think that I don't think they're going to create a foul. I'm saying they have at the beginning of all of these games, Castle has been defending in a way that it's like, okay, you're not calling this. And that, by the way, he's been great.
That's going on all over the court, too. They're defending Wemby the same way. They're defending Cat the same. They have let these two teams be so physical that I think to dial it back too much would just be not good. I mean, you'd have dudes having a ton of fouls.
We saw it a bit in the third quarter when they actually did start calling a few. Guys were turning around and looking around and being like, oh, wait, now you're calling this?
Yeah.
You weren't calling that
earlier. Which is
like,
why I'm saying I think Mike Brown's press conference is going to work. I think that early in the game, they are going to set the tone of, again, nobody wants a foul fest, and everybody likes letting the players decide it and the playoff basketball. But to the point of the video we just showed about how even if you remove Wemby, what's going on with Wemby, was it Keldon Johnson, Cat? I think the referees will have a tighter whistle early, and I think for the first time this series, it's going to benefit the Knicks. That's what I think.
Very interesting.
I don't think refs think about it like that. They're not supposed to, and they are all graded. And these are the refs that have been assigned to the NBA Finals. So I don't.
How do you think the refs, if they're all graded, do you think the refs got glowing? The guys who refs game 2 and 3 got glowing marks?
No.
Right. So I think these guys are going to ref differently. You're right. They're all graded, and I think the refs of the games 2 and 3 got poor grades, and. So I don't think, the only reason this is not through 3 games, the biggest free throw discrepancy in finals history through 3 games is because of the 6 Mitch Robinson hack-a-Mitch free throws. The
Knicks don't attack the basket. They were like 25th in free throws in the regular season. They're not a team that goes to the guys that went to the hoop or in the mid-range, OG and Brunson got 17 free throws between them.
Again, we'll see if it happens. It's just a prediction of what I see happening this year.
Well, speaking of predictions, it's time now for one of the coolest segments you've ever seen in your whole life. It's when Danny takes some statistics and analysis and puts on a leather coat and some sunglasses, breaks out his briefcase, and makes them cool. It's time now for Pack Stats, a.k.a. Cool Stats.
That's exactly right, Wilds. You guys are going to miss Pack Stats during the World Cup when you're
Are we not getting Pack Stats in the World Cup, and why not?
We won't.
Why not?
Because we're not going to be a part of
I'm going to do it on the OT in the afternoon. You guys are going to be on from 10 to noon.
So why don't you come on and
Now listen, if I'm invited,
on occasion. Okay, can I say something to the audience? Pack Stats needs a home in the morning, at least once or twice during the World Cup.
I'm available. Pack Stats will live in the OT. You guys want it in the morning. I'm happy to come in.
Let me tell you right now, KW can't get over this couple million rating you're about to do. This is going to be his way of being like, well, remember you came on our show, so there's a day I can come on yours.
My name is on the
You guys
file.
are always welcome. But you guys know what else is cool?
What?
Hotels. Because I think home court advantage might be a little overrated.
That's true.
The thing that was said yesterday by Al Harrington that went viral about, retribution, that's one thing. The most interesting thing he said is that the Knicks would prefer for Game 4 to be in San Antonio. Did MSG have an adverse effect on the Knicks in Game 3? That was the fewest points scored by a finals home team in the first and fourth quarters, when the game gets tight at the end and first when the energy is at its highest in 10 years. The worst field goal percentage by any finals home team since 2019. And I thought this was interesting. That one in 2016, the team with the 42 points.
It was Game 7 of the finals.
Game 7, maybe the most pressured, oh my God, we're about to blow this 3-1 lead. Yeah. Al Harrington said the tension in the building was palpable when the Knicks started playing poorly, and it might have had an adverse effect on the Knicks.
That's a great stat. Let's be honest.
So I'm saying, is tonight the fact that it's in New York, is that actually playing into the Spurs fact?
I think everything about Game 3 was weird. The Knicks' first finals home game, the city's first finals home game in 27 years. Trump is there. The fans getting into the building. Everything about it was weird in a way Game 4 won't be from an atmosphere perspective. So I don't think it will be as drastic in my opinion.
Look, there's obviously pressure on the Spurs. You don't want to go down 3-1. But I do think the Knicks are going to feel the heat of the city thinking 2 days ago, we're about to win our first championship in half a century, to if they were to lose this game or if they fall behind, really starting to feel that from the crowd. So I think there is going to be a lot of pressure on the Knicks. I think it'll work against them.
Wow. That's a great stat. That might be my favorite Pack stat we've had yet.
Oh, well, it led right into this one. Because you guys know what else is cool?
What?
How water rolls off a duck's back. Or Taylor Swift's going to be there. You got to shake it off. We spent so much time talking about the Spurs shaking off Game 2. Have we undersold what the Knicks just went through? They're up 2-0 in the finals with a 5+ point lead at halftime. Never happened before in the history of the NBA Finals. At halftime,
this is the worst pack stat ever.
No, at halftime,
you cannot call that a historic Game 3.
I'm sorry.
That was not historic.
I'm sorry.
That's the worst pack stat ever.
It's never happened before that a team was up 2-0 in the finals and then up by more than 5 at halftime and then blew the lead. At halftime, the Knicks thought they were going to
clean out your desk.
Hold on a second. Nick, we were texting during the game.
This is the worst stat ever.
I can't believe it's never happened before, though.
Thank you. It's 5 points. Never happened before. Nick, did you think?
Yes, I thought they were going to blow them out.
And that they were going to sweep them.
I don't know about that, but I thought they were
Once it was 3-0.
If it was 3-0, everybody in the world would have been picking sweep. The Knicks
not you. You would have come out here and been like, I got the Spurs.
Yeah, that's probably.
This was not. That was not a historic loss.
Well, it's never happened before.
It was. They collapsed. According to Dan.
It's not historic, but it's never happened before in the history of the
because it's
basketball.
a thing. This is like the Thaddeus Young stat.
I remember that.
Yeah, even that has
where
4 guys on it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
LeBron, Larry Bird.
Never.
The guys.
Not once.
You really did go from best ever to worst ever. It's the worst pack stat
I'm shocked.
Ever.
Thank you, Wilds. What a teammate.
It might be a shocking stat.
Yeah, and I'm shocked.
It's cool.
In order for it to be shocking, someone has to absorb the shockness and then be shocked.
All right, guys. You know what else is cool?
I'm curious now.
Double hypotheticals.
No, I disagree
Wilds
with that.
loves the double hypothetical.
With that.
Let's talk a little World Cup.
You redeemed yourself.
The men's national team reaches the knockout stage if they get a point, if they get a result in the opener. 6 for 6. They lose the opener. 0 for 4 of even making the knockout stage. I heard Nick mention this to Dax, so he already knew this one. But added importance. I know it's easier to advance out of the group stage with the new rules and everything like that. But huge game. Obviously, borderline must win Friday night for the Americans.
Borderline. Here's the thing.
Historically, it is a must win.
Historically, it's a must win or tie.
Right, and new rules.
But I am not interested in the U.S. just advancing past the group stage.
Out, yeah.
I am interested in them having a chance to actually make the quarterfinals. And in order for us to believe they can do that, they need to win against Paraguay. Because once you get to the knockout round, you will not play. Every team you will play will almost assuredly be better than Paraguay. So yeah, I think it is a must-win. I think it's a 1-1 draw is not going to make.
Wait till we debut this. This is.
That's what NBA Reddit wanted the Warriors to do for Steph.
Yeah.
Create a circle around him, let him dribble and shoot threes.
It would be impossible to defend.
Yeah, what could you do?
It would.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious. It's like Wemby dunking.
I bet, you know what? The NBA might let the Spurs do that for Wemby. That might be the next thing.
What?
Just create a little circle around him. Don't touch him.
Remember, they were like, why isn't this allowed?
Yeah.
Excellent
2 out of 3.
episode
2 out of 3.
of Pack Stats. Yeah. Coming up next, more on USA Paraguay with World Cup expert Dax McCarty. Did you get some of his pastries?
They were delicious.
Everybody got some but me.
Welcome back to First Things First. This is footage we have been waiting to see for a while. You are looking at Chris Richards taking the practice field. He was recovering from an ankle injury, got through the full practice on Monday, no issues. U.S. men's national team, of course, takes on Paraguay. Friday, 9 o'clock Eastern on Fox. Here's Chris Richards himself on how he's feeling.
I mean, I feel good. I feel really good. No, I'm not the coach, so I can't say if I'm playing on Friday or not, but me personally, I would love to be playing this opening game.
All right, we've been waiting for that news. We've been waiting for that soundbite.
And exhale.
Yeah, exactly. So former U.S. men's national team midfielder Dax McCarty is here with us. You will be with all of us here at First Things First throughout the entire World Cup, and we are thrilled to have you. You exhaled. How huge is this news that Richards at least says he's good to go?
It's massive. And I mean, no disrespect to the two goalkeepers, Matt Turner and Matt Freese, by saying this, but short of prime Tim Howard walking through the door to be the U.S. men's national team starting goalkeeper, this is the best news that U.S. men's national team fans could have heard. Chris Richards is our most irreplaceable player. And now there's a difference between our best player and our most irreplaceable player, but Chris Richards is our best defender. He's our best center back. He's playing at the highest level in the Premier League with Crystal Palace. He has really come into his own the last 2 or 3 years, and he is a veteran leader on that back line. Tim Ream wears the armband, and he is the oldest player on the roster, but I think Chris Richards is the emotional leader of this team. And so if Christian Pulisic, being our best player, raises our ceiling, when he plays great, when he does things in the attack, final third, Chris Richards is the guy who raises our floor. He makes us significantly more solid in the back. And if you have him on the field with a young Alex Freeman on the right side of him and a slightly older Tim Ream on the left side of him, well, you feel really good about your chances.
That's actually where I was going. Like, so if that is the defense, Ream, who's the captain, Richards, and Freeman, is it all of a sudden a strength? Because going into it, it was like without Richards, wow, this is the big question mark. Do they have enough depth? What happens if the wrong guy gets a red card? Now, is it just back to a baseline, or can we actually say, no, with Richards there, the defense can be a strength?
Yeah, I think with Richards there, you can absolutely say it's a strength. But it's because he raises the tide. He raises the boat for all the players around him. And he allows your wingbacks, Serginho Dest, who I believe is going to start on the right, and Anthony Robinson, who I believe is going to start on the left, to be significantly more aggressive.
Right.
If you are going to be aggressive, and if you are going to play with an older, less mobile center back in Tim Ream, you have to have a really experienced, a really clever, a really mobile center back like a Chris Richards to be able to put out fires. And so if Chris Richards is not fit and not available, well, Austin Trusty's a good center back, Mark McKenzie's a good center back, Miles Robinson is a good player, but they don't give you the same stability and presence that Chris Richards gives you.
So this is maybe the game theorist in me, but like I heard you earlier talking about like Messi, you got to save his minutes for the for the knockout round. Richards says he's good to go. He's obviously younger than Messi. We know that. But Paraguay is a defensive-oriented team. They haven't scored more than 2 goals in any of their qualifying games. We have a serious expectation that the U.S. will get out of the group stage regardless of how this goes because of the new format.
Absolutely.
Is there an argument for Pochettino to say, okay, you say you're good to go, but I'm not starting you. I'm not playing you all 90 minutes. I'm going to maybe sub you in, maybe even sit you for the opener to buy that extra time.
I think that that's a fair point, but if Chris Richards says that he is good to go and I'm Mauricio Pochettino, I get him on the field from the start.
Okay.
I want my best team and my best players on the field from the beginning of the game because you have 5 substitutions now. That's a little bit different than in years past. And you have more substitution windows at halftime. So if you have a cap on Chris Richards' minutes, I would rather you put him on the field from the beginning of the game, set the tone, establish the rhythm, let him get into a flow, and then you can sub him out a little bit later into the game because he is absolutely key to the U.S. men's national team defensively if we want to be a little bit more buttoned up in the back.
All right, so that answers one question, but there are still plenty more. And you can, of course, catch the U.S. taking on Paraguay in the opener Friday, 9 o'clock Eastern on Fox. Men's national team unbeaten 3 straight opening games at the World Cup, drawing in 2010 and 2022, getting a win in 2014. So, Dax, there's a lot of pressure to get that win in the opener and keep that unbeaten streak going. But what would you say now is the biggest post-Chris Richards question that you have about this squad?
Can we wrap Tyler Adams in bubble wrap? And it is a lot of it has to do with injuries, and every single team, national team, will say the same thing. You have to keep your best players fit and healthy if you want to make a deep run. But I think because of the way Pochettino put this roster together with so few midfielders and not really a like-for-like replacement for Tyler Adams on this roster, you have to have Tyler Adams fit and healthy.
He's like the last guy you'd want to get a red card?
Correct. Red card, small injury, double yellow, pick up too many yellows in the group stage. He is, what he provides this team is exactly what Chris Richards provides this team. It's just in midfield. He provides you that bulldog mentality, be able to win duels, win tackles, which in World Cup games, which traditionally can be really cagey, they can be really stingy, especially if you're playing against teams that you can't just bully around with extra talent. You have to have a player that is willing to get stuck in, cover ground, win tackles. I really like Christian Roldan. I think he's a very good player. I like Sebastian Berhalter and, of course, Weston McKennie. But none of them are a like-for-like replacement for Tyler Adams if he is not available. And so you wrap him in bubble wrap. Mauricio Pochettino, I would say, almost has to manage his minutes significantly more with more of a fine-tooth comb than maybe even a Chris Richards coming off that injury.
Well, listen, so he matters a ton. Richards helps a lot. It just kind of hits my radar of
spine.
Yeah, right.
Spine of your team.
Right up the middle.
Yeah.
But they haven't named the goalkeeper.
Sure.
How is that not? I mean, like, because my whole life has been like, we know who the goalkeeper is, and can the U.S. team score enough goals? Like, that's been the question of basically every U.S. team. Like, can they put the ball in the back of the net enough? Now, no one seems to be talking about whether they can score enough because the team hasn't even named a goalkeeper.
Exactly. And specifically, the goalkeepers. Both Matt Freese and Matt Turner have talked about how, they're not really sure. And that makes me a little uneasy. That makes me a little bit uncomfortable that I don't know and my goalkeeper doesn't know who is going to be playing. And now, I understand why Pochettino is doing it. He wants everyone to stay mentally locked in, mentally sharp, and prepped to play. Because there are times.
You think it's a psychological move, not a strategic move?
I think it is a psychological thing because this is the one thing I really give Pochettino credit for after the U.S. Failures in late 2023-ish, where the former coach lost his job, Greg Berhalter.
Yep.
I think players were too comfortable. He has come in and he's made players uncomfortable. He's brought new players in, and now he is saying this is a psychological test. I want all my players ready to play. If you're asking me, I still am comfortable with Matt Freese being the starting goalkeeper, even though Matt Turner has slightly more experience. Matt Freese has been his guy in the last couple of tournaments, in the last couple of friendlies. He's given Matt Turner a little bit of time. I think you need to start Matt Freese from the beginning, give him that confidence, and let him control that back line.
All right, so can they score enough? Who's the goalie? Can Tyler Adams be in bubble wrap? Is Chris Richards 100% good to go? Just a few questions.
All these questions we have, but guess what? Every other national team, save for maybe Spain, France, England, they all have these same questions going into the tournament. And so these are the fun things to talk about beforehand. So then once the guys step on the field, they can prove us all wrong and make us all look like dummies.
And the game starts tomorrow. Dex, you're going to be in. This is going to be fun, man.
It's going to be great.
We'll watch that Mexico-South Africa game tomorrow. We'll be on afterwards with the OT. It's going to be fun, man, for the next 6 weeks or so. Al Harrington and KOC join me next. Get into all the storylines ahead of Game 4 of the NBA Finals coming up on the OT. You are looking beautiful shots. LA Scenics Stadium all dressed up ahead of the World Cup. United States competing in its 12th World Cup. The countdown is on. USA, Paraguay kicks off Friday, 9 o'clock Eastern on Fox. We cannot wait. Time now for a little edition of He Said, We Said, listening to the best sound ahead of Game 4 and giving you the best analysis. Kevin O'Connor and Al Harrington out here with me. Here is Jalen Brunson as he assesses his finals performance.
Most importantly, not turn the ball over. Give my team an opportunity. That's fine. We're going 1. Kind of in the middle. I've played better, but I've played worse.
I think that is probably objectively true. That he has played better and he has played worse. That's it sounds profound while it's just kind of a statement of being obvious. But I don't expect Brunson to have a massive game, and it is not at all an indictment on Brunson. Right. If we just saw the 2-time MVP struggle relative to his terms against this team, and now we're seeing Brunson do it, if we put up Brunson's efficiency, because he's had clutch moments and huge shots and even nice counting stat games, it is the worst field goal percentage for a player in NBA Finals history to take that many shots. So it's just, they're a bad matchup for him. They're not going to let it be easy for Jalen Brunson.
Not at all. And that's in part what we saw last round with Wemby and SGA, causing SGA, the 2-time MVP, to have diminished efficiency on the offensive end of the floor. We're seeing it this round with Brunson shooting about 20% worse when Wemby is on the floor. And I think for Brunson, that might just be the reality of the series when you're facing Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle and that Spurs defense. What I'm also worried about additionally is the fact that the Spurs seem to be increasingly targeting him when Brunson's on defense. Yep. And if that wears him out, where they're targeting him at 24 possessions, they brought him into pick and rolls in Game 3, up from 23 up from 13 in Game 1, up from 13 in Game 2.
That's interesting, because honestly, when I was watching, it seemed like it wasn't happening enough, but it was happening way more than Games 1 and 2.
And that could wear him down even more.
Yeah, they definitely keeping him in actions, on the defensive end. They definitely trying to wear him thin. And Stephon Castle is a beast defensively, right? He is wearing them down. He's a big body. He's on them at all times. He's not giving them any angles. That's always been Jalen's game, is the angle thing, right? He's cutting off all those angles with his body, and everything is so physical. It's like a battering ram. But at the end of the day, do I think he'll have a statement game? A statement game, in my opinion, is a win, right? They have to figure out a way to win this game by any means necessary tonight. So for him, each game in the fourth quarter, he's been himself, right? He's hit clutch shots. He's been there like he's always been. So tonight, I expect nothing less. I just expect them to play a little bit more through Karl Anthony Towns like they did, for most of these playoffs, and I think they'll have a different offensive flow than they did last year.
They better.
Yeah, but I do expect him to take basically every shot in the fourth quarter.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of how
Save
it works.
For the fourth.
Yeah, I get it. All right, next up, Stephon Castle on his expectations for the rest of the series after their big win in Game 3.
Yeah, definitely. I expect us to win the next 3.
I love it. Like me, Danny Parkins, the host, loves it. But if Draymond Green said that in a series that the Warriors were in, it would lead every show. Like, oh yeah, I'm calling my shot. We're going to win the next 3.
Right.
Like it's kind of wild that it's a 21-year-old saying it when they're down 2-1 in the finals.
Well, like he said, him and Wemby, they're the leaders of the team, right? So they kind of writing their own rules because the veteran, if I was in that locker room, I'd have smacked him upside his head after that interview. Like, bro, don't give them no extra initiative to win this game tonight, right? But these young players, man, they've proven both of us wrong for a very long time at this point.
Yep.
Because they're bravado, right? It's something about them. They're very confident in themselves. I think he believes in what he said. He really thinks that they're going to win the next 3 games. And because of that, they're going to be in position to probably win this game tonight. So I'm expecting him to come out, play exactly how he played, play hard on both ends of the court, and we'll see what happens.
I mean, ultimately, everybody's got their different ways of approaching the game. I love it from Castle. I also love it from Bridges when he's like, it's 0-0 after they're up 2-0. No complacency. We're not going to let up. Right. Both those perspectives, what works for you, whoever you are, and how you approach the game. But with Castle and these young guys, it feels like even after losses, they said we're the better team. It hasn't changed their mindset at all.
Which, like, whenever you win a lot, you start to get haters because people just like to root against, the Goliath. But it is interesting that, like, if Wemby's getting a little dirty and Castle's talking a lot of trash and they're doing a lot of winning, like, I wonder how fast people are going to turn against the Spurs. Because that's not a particularly likable quote to the masses.
I mean, that's the world we live in, right? People they don't like to see anybody do good, right? You always looking for someone's
No, again, I personally love it.
Yeah, I actually love it too. Like, I love it just because, like, I just love that confidence.
Yeah.
Right? I have young kids and, like, I have an 8-year-old son, and that's kind of like how he is. Like, he just thinks he's the best at everything. And that's something you try to nurture, but that is the kind of mindset that you need if you're going to be successful in anything in life, and especially in sports. You have to have the ultimate belief in yourself, and that's what they're showing as a team.
You got to have a vision to make things happen in your world and your reality, and I think that's what this young Spurs team very clearly has for themselves. Whether it turns into a win tonight at Madison Square Garden remains to be seen because the Knicks have a lot of those guys as well.
Do you think there's bulletin board material, though, in the NBA Finals? Or is it just, it's the NBA Finals, so obviously we're going to do our best to win?
I know, like, back in my day, we were petty. So that would be on the board when we walked in there.
In a finals game.
Walk in that locker room, and if there's a board up there, that is up there on our board, for sure.
Okay.
Got to use everything for motivation, right?
Yeah, listen, again, I respect petty too, but these are wild quotes that have been coming out of the Spurs all series. And it's like, are they winning the series 3-0? No,
it up, though.
In fact, they're down 2-1. All right, last thing here. Here's Mike Brown on the impact the Garden had or didn't have in Game 3.
Our level of physicality was not good last night to start the game. We knew down in San Antonio, they were going to come out with a bunch of energy, especially with the crowd that they have down there. They do a good job feeding off the crowd.
So, Al, I've been thinking about what you said yesterday, pretty much whenever I've been thinking about this series since yesterday, in that the Knicks wish this game was in San Antonio. And like the idea that everything we all talked about going into Game 3, most expensive ticket in the history of basketball, most hostile crowd, the biggest celebrities, this thing we had never seen before, actually hurt the team that the 19,000 people or the 20,000 people in the Garden were rooting for. Like, it's such a counterintuitive thought, but it's fascinating to me. The president won't be there, but Taylor Swift will be. So it's
Taylor's coming tonight.
Yeah, but it is going to be crazy. Like, how do you think the Garden impacts tonight's game if you thought it worked against the Knicks in Game 3?
I'm not gonna say it worked against them, but it's a tough environment. I mean, you look at just being in New York, just in general. Like, I looked at the back page of the Daily News today. Like, it had Jalen Brunson on there and said, "Pass the ball, don't play hero ball." Like, this is the only city in the NBA that you have to kind of deal with that. That's our star player. You know what I'm saying? And the people, like I said earlier, the people that can afford the seats, they're the ones that actually read the newspaper, right? So people are coming into that stadium kind of with that in their mind. And if Jalen kind of gets off to a slow start, it's like, I can hit, pass the ball! You know what I'm saying? So, and that's at home, right? Most players don't have to deal with that. So this is just a very tough environment to play in. And I'm telling you what I know for sure. They would prefer this game to be in San Antonio, a must win for them. They would rather be there.
That is so crazy because when Knicks fans take over San Antonio, or at least make their you hear "Let's go Knicks" chants in San Antonio, right? Which we did in Game 1 and 2, or they really took over Philly and Cleveland. That just plays right into the Knicks' hands on the road. But it's like it works against them a little bit here.
It probably almost gets in San Antonio's head when it's on the road. Like, really? This is a road game?
They're taking over our home environment.
Exactly, and it helps out the away team in that scenario. But ultimately, I think Mike Brown's right about that quote. We've had 3 straight games where the Knicks have been down double digits in the first quarter. They have to have a night where they come out and they match that Spurs physicality, where we're seeing the truck sticks, where we're seeing San Antonio make some quote-unquote dirty plays. Right. The Knicks have to match that energy and establish an early lead for once in the series instead of having to battle back. So it's all about what they can control on the court, and they can't worry about how anxious the crowd might be, and they will be tonight compared to Game 3.
And my only thing is with the physicality thing is it's a slippery slope, right? Because I feel like we have been somewhat physical, but that's kind of led us into foul trouble, right? And especially in the first half, like we mentioned yesterday, it was yesterday. You know, you had Kevin Hart first game. It's Kevin Hart. Wow.
Kevin Hart would be a terrible NBA player.
Sorry.
He's too small.
Josh Hart, I'm sorry, dude. He must be talking about me.
He's 2.5 feet shorter than Wemby. I mean, Kevin Hart wouldn't be able to do anything.
That'd be Earl Boykins.
I'm sorry. Josh Hart, Cat, then you had Bridges, and you had, Brunson, and then obviously started the fourth quarter. We had 4 quick fouls in the first 2 minutes, and then they're shooting free throws the rest of the quarter, which, alluded to Coach last game complaining about all the free throws that they shot. So the physicality thing could go, sometimes it sounds good to match physicality, but then sometimes it could put us in a bad spot.
Sometimes it feels to me like all of these things, like crowd noise, energy, pressure, the refs, like it's really good stuff for us to talk about between the games. And then tonight it's going to be like, does Brunson hit his shots? Does Bridges hit his shots? Does Wemby get his paint touches? Like, it is much more likely that once the game starts, the actual basketball things are going to impact the basketball game, and this other stuff is largely just noise.
100%. It's does Cat get his touches again? Can they figure out how to get him going against Devin Vassell and Stephon Castle being right in his face, right, playing low against him? Can they get Jalen Brunson actually going when SGA couldn't, when Brunson hasn't been able to against Wemby and Castle? Those are the questions that are ultimately going to decide the winner and loser of the game. And executing plays at the high level, that's where I think pressure comes in. Yeah. As an NBA player, when you're feeling pressure, execution. And then we'll see there.
Especially,
No, go ahead, man.
No, I was just going to say, I just think that with Jalen, to get him going, I just think that we got to get him the ball in motion a little bit more, not just direct impact. Not just bringing it up one-on-one, pick and roll initially. Give the ball up, come off a screen, down screen, get Castle moving around so that then he has to kind of guess what he's going to do next. Right now, you're just coming downhill at somebody every single time like SGA was the entire time. It's easier to predict and easier to guard.
Pass the ball.
Right.
Pass the ball. It's an amazing headline.
No hero ball.
It is singular to New York. It's going to be a very interesting environment tonight, and then eventually tense if it's going poorly for the Knicks. Coming up, though, talking a little World Cup. Time now for First Things Last. You might have heard that the World Cup begins tomorrow, and there really is nothing else like it. 104 matches over 39 days, culminating in what will likely be the most viewed event in the history of sports. There's something special about this once every 4 years spectacle, the World's Game. And I have vivid memories of being 8 years old at the '94 World Cup and going to exactly one match with my dad at Soldier Field. We saw Spain and Germany play to a 1-1 draw in the group stage. I remember rooting for Spain because my dad bought me a bright red and yellow hat that I wore for months after the match. Jurgen Klinsmann's header thrilled me. My primary sports exposure to that point had been basketball, so the idea that you could score with your head was hilarious. The fans were unlike anything I had ever seen, with their chants and flags, and they had these huge wooden noisemakers that you would never be allowed to bring into a stadium today. But in the interest of full transparency, I am not the biggest year-round soccer fan. I don't have a Premier League team, and the MLS just hasn't hooked me yet. I just love the World Cup. And the numbers say there are literally billions of people like me. But it can be a bit daunting parachuting into these conversations because soccer fans have a bit of a tendency to gatekeep their sport. Yesterday, I did a top 10 list of the players that I was most excited to watch, and dozens of people told me that I was wrong. And I was like, but it's my list of who I'm excited for. But I also kind of get it. It's the biggest thing in your world year-round, and then once every 4 years, me and a billion of my friends start chiming in. That's got to be kind of annoying. But all I would say to the billions of people who do parachute in, don't worry about the gatekeepers and embrace the beauty, stakes, and pageantry of this truly one-of-a-kind event. it creates memories that can last a lifetime. That's all I've got. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on the OT. We're back tomorrow talking more World Cup.